We had no idea, really, that anything was out of the ordinary at all until our nuts disappeared.
Stimulating late-night sporting debate for long-distance lorry drivers,
14 for the copy.
young mums,
What time do you call this? Coming on?
and students who've taken too many of those caffeine tablets.
The two Mikes, Parry and Graham on Talk Sport.
Look at the lights!
See the time, by the way.
Hang on a sec, I want to talk about these raccoons.
There was one actually on last week, I think, about Wales.
Yeah.
Which was fascinating.
A documentary on Wales?
Yes.
Yes, I like documentaries on Wales.
Did you see the one that was on last week?
No. What was it about?
Wales. This is Talk Sport. I'm Mike Graham, and I'm delighted to say that it's time to say a very good morning to Mr. Mike, a Porky, a Parry. Very good morning to Mr. Parry.
Good morning, Mike, and it's great to see you tonight. I have to say, could it be that the world is on the brink?
Hey?
Could it be that the world is on the brink?
Brink of what?
Well, on the brink of financial collapse again.
Oh, yeah, that's not going well, is it?
I mean, look, I'm not saying it is. I don't want to be a doom-laden...
Certainly not, because, that sort of talk is what causes a recession.
Well, exactly, for better or bad. In fact, I'm going to talk it up. During the course of this show, I'm going to give you some economic pointers as to how to stop the world sliding into recession, OK?
Well, what difference does it make to you if it slides into recession?
What do you mean?
You're pretty well what do they call it? Gilt-edged.
No.
They used to call things gilt-edged.
No, gilt-edged, not gilt-edged.
Gilt-edged?
G-I-L-T,
Yeah, gilt-edged.
like gold...
Yeah, I'm not saying you're guilty.
Gold certificate edged. No, you are. You're trying to play in a word. You're trying to make out that I've got some part in it.
No, you're getting paranoid again. No, I'm saying you're pretty much well protected from any kind of recession.
What do you mean by that?
Because bricks and mortar is the place that everybody puts their money when things are going bad, when the oil price is plunging,
well, actually,
when gold price is going down, when the iron ore prices hit rock bottom, what do? Buy a bunch of flats in some student-run area where you can rent them all out.
What's your problem? What's your problem?
Not
Do you not like people who have foresight?
I love people with foresight.
I can't help the fact that, 1,000 steel jobs are going. I can't help the fact that, as you quite rightly say, the iron ore market has hit rock bottom.
Exactly.
People in China being thrown out of work.
Yeah.
Recession hitting Europe, possibly. I can't help all these things.
Yeah, what about the oil, though, as well? I mean, the oil market's about to be flooded with oil from Iran, right, at a time when the price is already going down. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. But, I mean, the point is, a $30 barrel of oil should benefit almost everybody in the world, except people who work in the oil industry.
Yeah.
So it's bad news for those people who invested in the North Sea.
Bad news for Scottish independence.
It's very bad news. If Scotland was independent now, Scotland would be a bankrupt country because the whole of the economy is going to be based on a barrel of oil priced at about $110 a barrel.
Yeah, right.
It's currently less than one-third of that.
Yeah, right.
It's about a quarter of that. So that is all bad news, right? But for you to say to me...
Good news at the petrol pumps, though.
Sorry?
But good news at the petrol pumps.
Oh, great news at the petrol pumps. And it means now that if I do have to drive between my various homes, I can get there much cheaper.
Oh, well, I'm very happy for you.
If I...
As ever, you're driven by unenlightened self-interest.
No, what I'm saying, you won't believe it, but if I now go from my home on the Epsom Downs down to my home on the coast, the south coast, and then decide I need to go to Orwell Quay, where my boat is in Suffolk.
Your boat? Did you not take it out of the water in the winter?
No.
That's what all boat owners do,
Well, I do,
in New
actually.
England, where people have very expensive yachts, they take them out of the water.
Well, mine's on a rack.
A rack?
It's on a rack.
What sort of rack?
Well, it's a rack.
It's on a wreck?
No, you stack the boats on a rack. And
you said it was in the water just now.
Yeah, well, it can be in the water because I let other people use it, you see.
It's a dirigible, anyway.
No, what?
It's not a proper boat, is it?
It's a rib.
It's a dirigible. That's what a rib is. It's a dirigible.
It's a rigid inshore boat, OK?
Rigid inshore?
Yeah, that's what a rib is.
What does that mean?
Well, it means...
it doesn't go out to sea.
No, you idiot. It means that you wouldn't want to cross the Atlantic in it, but it's perfectly safe and secure to go seal watching in, which is what I sometimes do, OK? Right. I don't like watching the seals. Now, what I was going to say is... about 18 months ago, if I had made that journey...
it says here RIB stands for Rigid Hulled Inflatable Boat.
Yes, that's it, rigid inflatable, that's right. Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
And if I go down the coast and then I come back up to the M25, round the M25 to the Queen Elizabeth
another
Bridge...
one of these long, drawn-out descriptions of how to get from point A to point B.
No. What I'm saying is, that used to cost me half a tank of petrol.
Yeah.
It still does, actually.
Yeah, well, it still will, won't it?
Yeah, it still will. Sorry, yeah. What I meant was, that half tank of
you
petrol...
haven't suddenly got, like, a fourth-dimension petrol tank.
No. That half tank of petrol used to cost me £40.
Right.
Guess what it cost me now?
27.
No, £30.
Oh, well,
it's
I'm
brilliant,
close.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's close, yeah.
Well, they say it's going to come down again, though.
Well, exactly. So that means every time I do the circular trip between my three homes, I save myself £10.
Funnily enough, I tend to put no more than 40 quid's worth of petrol into my car.
Why?
Because
you can't afford any more.
No, it's not that. It's just that I've got a sort of it's not a fear really, but I've got a sort of I hate the idea if I broke down that I would have a full tank of petrol. It would seem like a waste of time. And if, for example, I had to decide to scrap the car.
What a mad way of thinking.
No, it's not.
You can't have much confidence in your car, can you?
Well, no, it's an old car. I mean, it might break down.
It's
My point is
wreck.
that, you know, what it's a bit like when, you try to get that thing with the rental car where you're supposed to take the car back empty.
Oh, yeah,
and you try and work it out.
So
That when you need to put petrol in, you only put in a certain amount.
Yeah.
Because you really begrudge the idea that you're giving them back some free petrol.
Yeah, but the
only paid for a tank.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you go back and you get the calculation wrong, they charge you about £7 a gallon for the petrol, don't they?
It depends. No, yeah, of course, yeah. You don't. No, that's if you have to return it full.
That's right.
I'm talking about if you've paid for a tank and you return it empty. That's even more difficult to work out. But anyway, so the other day, just before I took off down to Sussex, I thought, well, I'll just put another 40 quid in the car.
Yes.
And amazingly, the car was full before I could pay 40 quid.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you that's the effect it's having.
Yeah, that's the effect it does have indeed.
Yeah.
Now, getting to the world economy, it's a very serious subject. We must spend some time on it tonight. Talk to some experts in Wall Street and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Talk to some experts in Wall Street.
Well, I think we should. I think we have a responsibility to our millions of listeners.
I prefer the story about the MP who's admitted to taking poppers, to be honest.
Okay.
But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Now, the thing is, I say to all of you out there, don't panic, okay? Don't panic whatever you do.
Yeah, don't put the porky jinx on it either.
There are some positives. For instance, the price of property is still going up.
Not in some places.
Well, it is in
hang on,
places where I own it.
Front page of the Times, £50 billion slide raises fears of market meltdown.
Well, that is bad news.
Most people will be concerned about their pensions. Most people will be worried about
Don't worry about your pensions.
Why not?
Well, because most people won't draw them for another 20 or 30 years, so don't worry too much about that. That's
what
okay.
What about somebody who's 65? What do you mean you're not going to draw them for 20 or 30 years?
Well, yeah, obviously if they're 65, you'll be drawing them quite soon, I suppose, but in which case they won't crash too much until you start drawing them. Now, what I was going to say is that... if petrol goes down, we all benefit except people working in the oil industry, right?
Oh, and all people who haven't got cars, I suppose.
And people in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, I don't see the price of any other things coming down on the grounds that, shipping them around in lorries is getting cheaper.
Gas is coming down, haven't you heard?
Gas?
One of the big gas companies has put the gas down by 5.6% today.
Well, I'm not talking about things like energy.
One thing
I'm talking about things in shops, because we're always saying that when the price of oil goes up, then the cost of transport goes up, and that gets passed on to the consumer. Why are we not finding the cost of things in shops coming down?
I think you'll find it will, because I believe in trickle-down economics, okay?
I know you do,
And trickle-down economics means that eventually...
You don't believe in anything apart from your own wealth.
But you shake it to the bottom.
You don't believe in anything
Well,
apart
I'll
from
tell you what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
My ISAs are based on...
Your ISAs?
ISAs,
How many have you got?
What?
How many have you got?
I'm sorry, you're not allowed to have one.
Well, you said my ISAs.
Sorry, I meant my ISA, singular. Singular, I meant
you
singular
can have more than one, can't you?
No, you can't, no.
Are you sure?
Not in the same name. Sorry? No.
So have you got a few aliases?
No.
Are you sure about that?
I'm
certain. I thought you could have more than one.
No, you can't. No, because it's a tax-saving benefit, and you can't...
I thought there was a limited amount of money you could put into each one.
15 grand a year.
But you could have more than one.
No.
Really?
No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Now, what I was going to say is, my ISA, I've only got one, I don't break the law, is appreciation is based on the stock market going up.
Uh-huh.
So over the last 2 or 3 years, I have made about, literally, over 20% on the ISA.
Yeah.
And I've drawn that money off and then put it onto a deposit.
So you've taken the money out of the
ISA? Apartment. Yeah, of course I have.
It says here you can have more than one, as long as it doesn't exceed more than 15 grand in a year.
Yes, exactly.
You can have as many as you like.
Well, that's questionable.
No, it isn't.
For tax purposes.
No, it's not.
Anyway, look, I don't want to talk about all that because...
Anyway, how about this from MC?
That's my accountant.
Who says the world is supposedly heading for a recession, thousands losing jobs, and there's Porky worrying about his boat.
Yeah.
Hashtag man of the people.
Well, I am a man of the people, seriously, and I do worry about other people. I mean, for instance, if I can't afford, if I become poor and can't afford to pay the bloke who puts my boat in and out of the stack, then he's out of work. See what I mean? So I need to keep rich and prosperous. Not rich, but I need to keep prosperous to be able to help these people.
There'll be plenty of people who'll be very upset.
My job...
Got a tweet here from somebody saying petrol prices fell below $1 in Michigan.
That is incredible, isn't
that amazing?
Yeah.
That's going back to where it was like in the 80s.
Yeah, it certainly was, yeah. But I know all the tricks on how we can save the world economy. And by the way... I do not believe, although you read it on The Times, and The Times has probably got some of the world's greatest financial journalists, okay? So Harry Wilson, the city editor, Philip Aldrich, economics editor, £50 billion slide raises fear of market meltdown. That's their opinion, and I very much respect it. However, I believe this is a correction in the world economy.
Dear.
I believe it's a correction in the Chinese economy.
Yeah.
I think
you
when
said
the Chinese...
that about iron ore. It's never come back.
Well, that's true. The fact that China is still growing at 6.7, but don't worry about the time when the world economy is at stake.
There's a Chinese player playing against Joe Conter as well.
There is indeed. The fact that the Chinese economy is growing at 6
pink top she's got.
Look, just shut up and listen. the fact that the Chinese economy is growing still at 6.7% a year, to me, is an indicator that all is not doom and gloom. We must not spread doom and gloom, because remember, a lot of the world economy... Just shut up for a minute. A lot of the world... I'm trying to save the world. A lot of the world economy is based on confidence. Yeah. So just be confident, look confident, go out and spend money. Even if you haven't got it, it will help. Yeah, there you go. That's some great financial advice from Porky Parry there. It's 4-2 to Joe Conter at the moment in the Australian Open in the second round. This is Talk Sport.
Sunday afternoon from 1:30. Exclusive national radio commentary of Everton versus Swansea. Barclays Premier League live on Talk Sport.
The night after the National Television Awards.
National Television Awards.
I don't know whether you noticed that your friend Thur Jan is on the front page of most of the papers today.
Does she look terrific as well?
The star of Dr. Foster. She's pregnant, you know.
Yeah, I know. Well, of course she's pregnant, because if you look at the pictures of her, she looks like an expectant mother. Yeah. And what I was going to say is, although some of the headlines say, looking swell, TV's Dr. Foster, as far as I'm concerned, her best and most famous role at the moment is in that other series that she does as the two detectives. Right. You know,
what's that one called?
I don't. You know, it's based in Manchester. You know,
I don't know.
Well, of course you know.
I'm a TV reviewer.
I've done a lot of reviews on it. What's it called?
I don't know. Is it two names?
Well,
somebody and somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Dempsey and Makepeace, but something else.
No, what was the American one called? The two women. One of them was an alkie.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, one was an alkie, and the other one had a moaning husband. Yes. He was always whinging about it being at work.
The blonde one and the dark one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what were they called?
I can't remember.
I'll remember in a minute. But anyway, this one, she plays a detective with a fellow detective, and they solve all the crimes. Yeah. I wonder what that... Hang on, I'm trying to find out what it's called, but I'll find out somewhere. Yeah. But she's more famous in that than she is in Dr. Foster, because Dr. Foster was a one-off.
But she's won all these awards for Dr. Foster.
Yeah, I know, but it was a one-off, if you see what I mean. Uh-huh. Now, let me just find out what's going on here.
I thought there was like 2 or 3 series of Dr. Foster.
No. She won the award for the new drama, Dr. Foster, but I don't think there's any plans to... As your TV reviewer, I can reveal there are no plans for a new series.
Yeah, no, but wasn't there a previous series?
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. It says here there might be a new series. so there might be... I think they've changed the plan.
It's 5-2 to Joe Conter at the moment in the first set.
Right, and explain who Ms. Conter is, please, to our audience.
Well, she's Britain's #1 female tennis player.
Well, of course, exactly.
You know, I mean, what more do you need to know? Well, she's in pink. Her opponent, who I believe is from China, is wearing a sort of a white outfit, I think. But I'll leave that sort of stuff to you.
Here, I'll listen to this. Saran Jones chose her appearance at the National Television Awards tonight to reveal she is expecting her first child. Last night, I'm sorry. Yeah. Showing, well, it's still night time, isn't it?
It's yellow,
you know what I mean.
The dress. It's yellow.
Whose dress?
The dress that the girl's playing against Joe Conter.
I'm talking about Saran Jones in a black dress.
Right. Well, calm down.
So, stop cutting across me, you idiot.
Sorry.
Right, showing off her baby bump in a stunning black gown. And the 37-year-old had even more to celebrate after she won the accolade for Best Drama Performance for Dr.
But what's
Foster.
the other show called? But what's the other show called?
The other show is called... Let me just think. Hang on, it's called...
You must have some kind of... is it Scott and somebody?
Scott and Bailey. Scott and Bailey.
Scott
and Bailey. Well done. Yeah. Excellent. That's it,
All right. Let me read you a couple of tweets out here.
Okay.
One from Muso, who says, Porky, if it looks like a dinghy, sounds like a dinghy, and inflates like a dinghy, it's, guess what? A dinghy.
No.
Roy says, the man of the people discussing his 3 homes and boats. Why does he think he's the man of the people?
No, because, you see, if you didn't have people who... were able to control more than the average salary. Because I hate when people accuse me of being rich or wealthy. I'm not anything like that. I have a more than average wage. Yeah.
Did you see, by the way, there was an interesting statistic that came out the other day about the amount of money you've got to earn before you actually are a net contributor to the economy.
And how much is it?
It's something like £24,000. Oh. Because until that moment, you're not actually paying any tax to cover all of the services that you receive.
I read a horrifying...
Which is actually £2,000 below the national average wage.
Yeah, that is a horrifying statistic. Another horrifying statistic I read the other day is that I think it's something like 66% of all homes in this country now receive some form of welfare benefit from the government.
Is that right?
That is ludicrous.
I'll tell you another one, though, which will maybe interest you, because we always hear about how, mortgage rates not going up is a good thing.
Yep.
Something like 75% of the homes in this country are actually owned outright. There's no mortgage on them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I heard that the other day.
I don't have many mortgages.
Really?
No.
How many, what you mean, you're all paid off? So this is
I
what
don't
mean.
like owing money.
So the world recession is not going to bother you, is it?
Well, yeah, of course it is.
All you got to do if you get into hard straits is to sell them one of your properties.
Yeah, but the value of my property might start going down if there's a recession.
Oh, dear.
Well, no, I mean, it's not a
my
good
heart
thing.
bleeds for you.
Well, it's not a good thing.
Well,
because
it's not a bad thing, is it?
It's not a good thing because it's an indicator that, a malaise is creeping into the economy.
I think it's a good thing if people who have just assumed that they will keep making money on property sometimes get a bit of a slap
But
round
I've never assumed that at all. I mean, you've got to remember, I have to support people like...
Like who? You don't support anyone.
I do.
Who do you support? Apart from Everton.
What about the house building companies?
And I'm talking about in terms of your family units. You don't have anybody to support.
Oh, I do.
Why?
Oh, I'm not going into that, but I do. I am the major breadwinner in
That's
my.
not true.
In my.
That's rubbish.
In my family.
That's not true.
Why'd you say that?
Because you were telling me about how very successful your brother-in-law is.
Well, he is, but he's retired.
Well, he doesn't need money from you, does he?
Well, he's retired.
Yeah, but you don't have to support him.
Well, I'm not saying I support him, but he's retired,
Right.
and I am the major breadwinner within the whole of the clan.
So you're saying you do support him?
On all sides. No. He doesn't need support.
Well, maybe
actually.
if your sister didn't want so many ensuite bathrooms, you wouldn't have to pay them any money.
Well, you see, you're a class warrior, aren't you?
Not at all.
You are. You're a class
I don't
warrior. You're
believe in
envious
class.
of anybody who's done better in life than you
I
have.
don't believe in class.
And you actually...
I don't believe in it.
You're the sort of bum who would welcome a world recession because you think it teaches people like me a lesson.
I welcome whatever comes.
And I
welcome whatever comes.
I end up paying huge amounts of taxes to provide benefits for
have to pay
bums
your
like
share.
you.
You
know
have
what
to
I mean?
pay your share of taxes, that's all. I'm not one of those people for high taxes. How about this? Lee says, MG, Porky's a man of the people. A pad in Epsom, one on the coast, a boat, and another one on another coast.
Well, look, that's because I've been around a long time and I just happen to have acquired these properties as I've gone along.
You bought them?
I haven't...
You haven't acquired them.
I haven't gone around... trying to
I bet you're the kind of person that goes trawling through the repossession, columns in the newspapers and goes and buys them cheap.
Oh, I often go to repossession auctions.
Do you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, anybody
sort of
who invests in
preying-
property would.
You don't mind on preying on other people's misery.
I'm not preying on other people's
Of course you
misery.
are.
I'm helping them out.
How are you helping them out?
Because if they're on the bones of their backside and they've
Yeah.
got nothing, I go and buy their rundown shack of a house.
Right.
And
The bank has already taken off them.
That's right. And that gives them a few bob, and then I do it up and sell it for twice the price I paid for it.
No, but it doesn't give them any help at all because
course
they've
it
already
does.
been kicked out of the house by then.
Well.
How about this one you'll like from Stephen? It says, when Mike Graham fills his car up, it's worth more than the car itself.
Yes, that's
harsh.
that's very nearly true, I think. Very nearly true. I'll tell you something else we can talk about later on in the show as well.
Yeah.
They've discovered a new planet.
Yes, I know they have, haven't they? Isn't
A
that
new
exciting?
planet. How about that?
I thought you weren't interested in space.
Well, I am, because guess what I've seen, so I was going to talk to you about anyway.
Yeah, go on.
There is a situation coming within the next 3 weeks when the 5 major planets are all aligned in a row.
Wasn't that meant to be this, yesterday morning as we were going home?
It's going on for about 3 weeks.
Is it?
But if you stand on the top of somewhere like Hampstead Heath or Box Hill, Hampstead Heath in your case for North London.
Why would it be in my case?
Because you were born around there.
Yeah, I know, but I don't live anywhere near it.
No, you can go
I'm not
back.
going to go all the way to Hampstead Heath, am I? To
Go
look at some
back
planets
and
in
revisit.
alignment.
I could go to Box Hill, which is in Surrey.
Could I not go to the
Belt.
back of top of Blackheath or something? Wouldn't that work?
Probably. I don't even know anything about Blackheath. Is that where decent people live? Is it?
Blackheath's a very good area.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
You don't know anything about Blackheath?
Not really.
No,
No.
why not?
I drive through it sometimes when I go to.
You know why it's called Blackheath, don't you?
Because. Is it where they used to bury the dead from the plague?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
That's right,
That's exactly
right. No, I do have interest in Maidstone.
Blackheath Village is one of the most expensive parts of London.
I do have interest
Surprised
in...
you didn't know that.
What?
Blackheath Village is one of the most expensive parts of London.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I haven't got any property there, but...
No, because you only have property in sort of poor areas, don't you?
No.
So you can sort of take advantage of people.
I do have interest in Maidstone, and sometimes if I finish work here...
Super.
And I have to go to Maidstone, I think I drive across Blackheath, don't I?
You should do, to go down the A2.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah.
Couple more tweets. Here's one from Andrew.
Yes.
It says you can have more than one ISA as long as you only fund one per tax year.
Well, that's
Wrong
exactly
again,
what I'm
Porky.
saying. That's exactly what I'm
You
saying.
can have more than one, though.
Yeah, but in the same year, you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
Put it that way.
But in perpetuity, you can have more
In
than one.
perpetuity.
You can have as many as you like.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Yeah.
But then you can't fund if you see what I mean, you can put 15 grand into a new ISA come this...
if you happen to be lucky enough to have 15 grand.
Yes.
You're so rich you can't even find the 12 grand that you've lost.
Hang on.
What do you mean, shh?
Stop all this envious talk. Stop all this
I'm not
envious
envious.
talk. Stop trying to turn the audience against me.
Hey, by the way, Joe Conter's won the first set 6-2.
Excellent. I'm really pleased
Great
about
stuff.
that. No, I'm pleased. So I'm saying, so you spend 15 grand on a new ISA.
Yeah.
But you can't put another 15 grand into the ISA you bought last year.
We shouldn't be so worried if you've got 30 grand knocking around to put somewhere.
Oh, but if you've been buying them for 10 years like me, it's 150 grand, you see. That's the problem.
What?
And you can't top up more than one a year. Do you see what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
So you've got 10 ISAs worth 150 grand.
I didn't say that. I said if you did. If you'd gone back buying them all for the last 10 years.
But you could have, though.
Well, you could have. People could have.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people who've got well over £500,000 quid in ISAs, and they started buying them 20 years ago when the maximum was £2,700.
Yeah.
But, the stock market has doubled or trebled over that time, and that's the way it's gone. It's a good investment. The trouble with you is you're envy of people who think through what to do with their money instead of literally wasting it by going out and having big lunches and spending £75 on a bottle of champagne.
Children,
supporting your children is one thing.
Yeah.
Well, supporting women.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a fine definition of that. Supporting women.
Yeah.
Supporting floozies, more like.
No, supporting people who have...
floozies.
No, supporting women who have had my children.
Supporting...
It's very expensive. You wouldn't know about that.
Supporting doxies who pass through your life.
No,
that is a very expensive business, isn't it?
You wouldn't know about that. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. Coming up in a little while, we talk to Spencer Pryor. It's One Set to Love. Joe Conter is up in Australia. This is Talk Sport.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare to be amazed and astounded by Mr. Matterface's Carnival of Curiosities, featuring a feast of fascinating facts and a farrago of fiendish falsehoods to untangle from the tantalizing truths as Samuel Matterface delights and astonishes you with his assortment of amicable acquaintances. Don't miss Fact or Fiction every Thursday morning from 10 on Talk Sport with Regain for Men Extra Strength Scalp Foam, scientifically proven to help stop and even reverse hereditary hair loss. Contains minoxidil. Always read the label.
If you run a business, I bet you run a lot of it on your computer or smartphone. All that client data at your fingertips is very handy. But is it secure? A lot of not very nice people would love to get their hands on that data. To keep it secure, always download the latest software updates. They contain important security upgrades, which help protect your device from nasty viruses and hackers. Be cyber streetwise. Visit cyberstreetwise.com.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with the Ford Ranger. It's the breakfast show that doesn't compromise on delivering the biggest names from the world of sport.
That's the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast every weekday morning from 6 a.m. on Talk Sport. Don't miss it.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on Talk Sport with the Ford Ranger. Ruthlessly tested across the harshest terrain on Earth. Find out more at ford.co.uk.
Talk Sport, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry, of course. We are the two mics. We're looking at Joe Conter at the moment. She's 1-0 up in the second set, down in the second round of the Australian Open, having won the first set 6-2. Andy Murray's up at around about 3 o'clock. I've got a couple of tweets to read out, but perhaps
I've got a few here.
Read a couple.
I've got a few.
What on earth have you got on?
What?
What have you got? What are you doing?
This is my new device.
What do you mean your new device?
It's my new device, man.
What is it?
Haven't you read the latest report?
You've got your phone taped to a hanger.
No, it's not taped to a hanger at all. This is my new device. Do you know what this is? This saves you getting osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis, right? Yeah. I've got a report. I've got a report I'm going to tell you about, right? Yeah. Kyphososis.
What?
Kyphososis.
Who's that?
Is a condition of
the neck.
Is that
the guy from The Usual Suspects?
It's a condition of the neck, and do you know why? Because kids now... Kids and adults now spend so much time doing this, looking at their mobile phone. Yeah. It is breaking their necks. Their necks are going to be ridiculous. I'm telling you, they're going to become permanently disabled.
That looks like something you would wear as a kind of mouth organ device.
Well, funny enough, I got the inspiration from John Lennon, because Don't you remember the song, I never realised I loved a girl like you?
Yeah.
And he had a mouth organ on a stand, and he just played it like this.
I mean, Bob Dylan had one of those. Bob Dylan had one
Yeah,
of
but I
those
think John Lennon invented it. So
I don't think he did, actually.
So look, I don't have to...
But how can you even read it?
I don't have to turn my neck down, right? I can read you... Shall I read you my latest...
Yeah, go on,
right, here we go.
Right,
here we go. Here's a tweet from Kev in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He says, Porky is absolutely right. Trickle-down economics is what makes the world go round. Look at all the croupiers here in Las Vegas who rely on wealthy people. So that proves my argument.
That's a long tweet.
I read that without my neck going down because I'm not going to get osteoporosis by doing this all the time.
Right.
Oh, sorry, hang on. My device.
Yeah.
And
you might go blind, though, trying to read it like that.
No.
I think you should make it a bit longer, a bit further away.
No, I can see it from here. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I turned around a bit, but I mean, basically...
You haven't perfected it, really, have you?
I have, and this is just, what do you call a first model? It's just sort of...
prototype.
A prototype,
yeah.
But I'm determined to get this... haven't
you got some danger of the battery and doing something to the wire on the coat hanger?
No, not at all.
Creating some kind of force field.
Not at all. Do you want me to read you another tweet without bending my head down?
Go on, read me another one.
Okay, this is from Alan in Dumbarton. He says, Mike, you're spot on the button with the economy. Look at the way the Scottish fishing industry collapsed when the Europeans got involved. So then again, you see, well, he understands. He understands that because of European rules and regulations, people now don't have the work... Oh, sorry, that's gone round. But, so anyway, this is it.
I mean, you may have something there.
I think I have.
I mean, what about... Why don't you just get a selfie stick? That's what everybody else has got.
No. What do you want a selfie stick for?
Well, because that has the same effect. You can hold the thing out there and you can read it without having to have it right in front of you.
Hands-free.
Yeah.
Hands-free.
Oh, good, so you can drive with it as well.
Hang on, I can drive with it. Can
you imagine you being stopped going down the old A3 and that?
I can. Why not? Because, I could talk in the phone, I can read my emails, I can read my tweets.
You'd have to take your eyes off the road, though.
Well, I wouldn't, only momentarily.
Yeah.
You have to take your eyes off the road when you put a disc in, don't you? Eh?
Well, haven't you got Bluetooth?
What?
Haven't you got Bluetooth?
Probably, but I prefer to put the David Bowie disc in because I can then...
the greatest hits.
Control it on the buttons on the wheel.
Yeah, well, you've obviously flipped out.
No. I want to tell you all about the problems to your neck.
All right, well,
I'll tell you in a minute.
Tell me in a minute. I'll read you a couple of tweets out because you weren't sure about this. Can you tell Porky, says Stephen, that the two female detective series in the 80s and some of the 90s was Cagney and Lacey?
Cagney and Lacey, I said that.
And Aaron says this, it's almost a week until my 21st birthday. Is there any chance I could get a pre-birthday message from the man of the people? I don't know which one he means, whether you or me.
Probably myself. What's the chap's name?
Aaron.
Aaron, congratulations, son. Happy 21st birthday. Believe me, at 21, you've got a big life in front of you. At least 50 years. Who knows what the world will look like in 50 years' time. But I will try and halt the global recession for you.
Now, here's a good one for you, because you can put this man right. Ian says this. Did Vinnie Jones bite Porky's nose, or was that someone else? It was Ted Oliver's nose he bit, wasn't it? And it was in your in your time when you were heading the FA.
It's right. In fact, I was...
So you can't get it off when you got the headphones on.
Yeah, I can, yeah. Don't worry about that. I'm
not worried about it.
I was sitting at the same table... And poor old Ted did get his nose bitten, and I'm afraid Ted is no longer with us. Ted died of cancer.
He did.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, great man, great reporter, actually. James says this, Mike Parry's on the Red Bull again, keeps on telling MG to shut up. Now MP should feel how MG feels when he talks.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Now listen, I'll tell you a bit more about the osteoporosis, right?
Yeah.
And this is quite serious. What happens is... that doctors have identified what I just told you.
Yeah.
Kyphosis. Kyphosis is a situation.
You didn't say that the first time.
I called it
like Kaiser Soze or something.
Yeah, no, it's kyphosis, right?
Yeah.
And what I was going to say to you is, what doctors have found out is we all have some degree of curvature in our backs, but a curve of more than 45 degrees is excessive. And what's happening is, young people in particular are bending their necks up to 100 times a day to 60, 70 and even 80 degrees downwards in order to look at their mobile phone.
Yeah, just because that's all they're doing all the time.
That's all they're doing all the time. This causes kyphosis. That leads to a spinal injury, malformation of the spinal column, and it can even affect women by affecting the placing of their womb. Quite seriously, the placing of the womb,
the curvature of the spine.
Curvature of the spine and all that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the reasons that people spend so much time staring into their devices as well is not just because they're on Twitter or because they're sending messages, but they're actually playing some kind of game.
Yes, could be.
Because people are constantly playing, video games of one kind or another.
But it's mostly people want... there's a fear of not being in touch.
Yeah.
There's some word for it, about, hang on, don't exclude me and all that kind of, from the world.
Right.
I need to know what's going on all the time. And amongst young people, they have these chat rooms, don't they? They still have these chat rooms, don't they?
Yeah.
And so if their friends are all talking about something, they're going out tonight or they've got something coming up at the weekend or they're discussing something that happened yesterday, if the young person feels they're not in on that talk, that conversation...
WhatsApp, I think, is one of the things that they use.
Is it? Yeah. They feel a sense of exclusion.
Yeah.
They feel, well, hang on, I'm not in the gang. It's like being sent to Coventry. And it's a terrible thing.
Right.
And we've got to educate our children to be independent and not feel lonely when they're not in on some banal talk about, what happened yesterday at the youth club or something like that,
No, exactly right.
Don't have youth clubs anymore, do they?
I don't think they do.
No,
I'm not sure they go to them. Anyway, let's talk about some football because I want to hear from you about Christian Benteke because there was a lot of talk after last night's game that Christian Benteke looks out of sorts. Jurgen Klopp doesn't seem very sure whether he wants to keep him.
He played last night, didn't he?
He played and he made the last goal quite well.
Goal,
and he missed a couple of other chances which some Liverpool fans are criticising him for.
The new hero at Anfield was a young lad called Sheyi Ojo.
That's right.
And I think he was the youngest ever scorer in the FA Cup.
Yeah, right.
For Liverpool, I think so, yeah. I want to find out. Oh, he's 18 years and 215 days. Ojo beats the record set by John McLaughlin in 1971 against Aldershot. I would have thought Robbie Fowler might have been a contender for that.
I'm not sure.
Or Michael Owen, maybe.
Well, I'm sure if they're calling him the youngest ever scorer, he must be. I mean, they don't get that sort of thing wrong, do they?
No.
Now, how about this on the planets? Geordie Jeff says, Porky, if you're interested in the planets and you still intend to retire in the northeast, you should book yourself an evening at the Kielder Observatory in Northumberland.
Sounds
you get a
brilliant.
great view of the stars as it has the least amount of light pollution in England.
Well, that's brilliant. Thanks for that advice. Kielder Forest is a place where I used to go rallying.
Yeah.
Rallying? Driving rally cars around in the middle of the night.
When did you do that?
Me, when I was
You've never told this story before.
Oh, no, I did. I did, yeah.
Well, go on then, tell us.
And there's also Kielder Reservoir, which is one of Britain's biggest... What's the problem?
Sorry.
What are you laughing at?
Kielder what?
The Kielder Reservoir.
Reservoir?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Reservoir.
What's wrong with my
It's not reservoir. It's not reservoir.
What happens with with my rallying past was...
When was this then?
Oh, this
When
was...
did you squeeze this particular sport into your vast, sort of array of different talents?
When I was a young reporter on the Newcastle Evening Chronicle,
right.
I had a mate, who I'd met at the University of the Trent, whose parents lived up there.
Uh-huh.
His father was a very successful businessman.
It's funny how all your mates had very successful fathers.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You deliberately sought these people out.
No.
You never became friends with anyone who didn't have a successful father.
Well, no, I think these people sort of were attracted to me. I think they saw leadership.
No, you sought them out.
Anyway, look, to cut long story short.
Yeah.
So amongst the businesses his father ran locally was a Vauxhall dealership.
Oh, yeah.
And as a result, they had a dealer team Vauxhall rally team, OK?
Yeah.
And the North East is great rallying territory. And the Kielder Forest, of course, is one place where they go rallying. Because you do rallying in the middle of the night. You know that, don't you?
Well, you don't have to.
No, you do.
No, I once took a rallying course, actually, at Silverstone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a good place to take a rallying course, because rallies happen in forests and that sort of thing,
Well, they've
right?
got a whole track in Silverstone.
Well, yeah, it doesn't sound very good to me.
Well, you mean the home of British motor racing?
Yeah, but...
It's never a very good place to go rallying.
Formula One motor racing, certainly, but not...
And rallying.
Anyway. So what happens? You go over there at 10 o'clock at night. Right. We start the rally about midnight. I was navigator. I was chief navigator.
So you weren't actually driving?
No. Oh, no. My skills were in navigating. And so my mate was driving, right, and you burn off into the night, literally. And it's incredible, really. You got incredible speeds, 80, 90, 100 miles, 110 miles an hour.
Right.
And
were you
then...
actually in a race, then, or were you just using somebody else's car?
What do you mean?
Well, were you in a race, or were you just practising, or what?
But rallying, you don't race against another car. It's all time trials.
Well,
it's time trials.
Who do you think's also involved in it?
Yeah, but I mean...
So who are you going to beat, then?
Yeah, but you haven't got a car next to you, that's what I'm saying.
No, of course not. I know that.
Exactly, yeah. So...
Well, you're still racing somebody else. Was it a race, is what I'm asking you, or were you just doing it for a laugh?
No, it was in a proper rally race,
right.
Which was a...
So what position did you come, then?
Well, I'm telling you in a minute, and it was controlled by the RAC. So my mate's driving, and we have, like, headphones in our helmets, or our crash helmets, that's right?
Yeah.
And what happens is there's a special language that navigators have with their drivers.
Yeah.
So as we're burning along at 110 miles an hour, the world is flashing by. I've got a tenth of a second to shout to my driver, hang a left, right?
Ridiculous.
Or...
Well, surely he's on a course.
No, you're not. No, you've got to plot the route from your map.
Right.
And you only get a tenth of a second to think about it. And then a bit further
Why have you
on...
never told this story before?
Well, you've never asked me about it before. And then a bit further on, right, as we come round another bend, I would realise, and I'd shout, and I'd throw my right hand out and shout, 90 right! Okay, and then he has to do that, and then go burning up, and then another, I'd say,
Can you explain what understeer is, then? If you know so much about rallying.
Yeah, understeer is screwing up, really, on a turn. If you see what I mean, yeah. And then...
It's not really the definition, but carry on.
And then I also had to know mathematically what degrees there are in a circle, because then we come around another bend, I'd
How
suddenly
many degrees are there in a circle?
360.
Brilliant.
Because I'd realise where we were.
You must have been great at rallying.
And I'd shout to my driver then, 274.
Right.
See what I mean?
And didn't you often ask him to stop at a pub or anything?
No,
one?
but there was an instant once, and I got banned from rallying, excuse me, after that, by the team, because I had an indiscretion.
What?
Well, the problem was in this team that was driving.
It's your time, by the way.
Well, perhaps I better tell you this a bit later.
Yeah, all right.
It's a bit shocking.
We'll come back to that.
Okay,
because I've got a rallying story for you as well.
Oh,
of course, because I actually drove a rally car.
I drove the rally car.
You just told me you didn't drive.
No, I did. I drove it back from the Kielder Forest back to the garage. But guess what? In these cars...
I thought you were going to tell me later.
No, these cars don't have a key to start. They have a flick switch. Yeah. When I flicked the switch, after, funnily enough, I'd stopped at a pub on the way back, the switch fell off.
Ah.
So I had a rally car with a 6-litre engine or something, but I couldn't start it.
Dear me. Sounds like the story of your life.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. Radio willing to run till it drops.
Yes.
Talk Sport.
FA Cup review on Talk Sport with Regain for Men. Facts, not fiction.
Played through by Tom Carroll, finding Son. Son turns away, busts a shot in. Spurs 1. Kane, good play, finding Son, 25 yards out. Son through to Chadley. That's a Chadley pass, Casper's by goal, and Spurs are 2-0 up. And that could be Spurs into round 4, heading for Colchester. Great play involving Son and Kane, feeding Chadley. Chadley beats Michael. Leicester 0, Spurs 2.
Spurs going through last night against Leicester. They're going to play Colchester in the next round. Liverpool went through against Exeter, of course, and they're going to play West Ham at home. It's a bit more difficult for them. Let's talk to Spencer Pry now, former Leicester and Manchester City player himself. See if he still gets excited by the FA Cup. Spencer, very good morning to you. Welcome.
I love the FA Cup. It's great competition still. It's wonderful, huh?
Yeah, I totally...
I think so. Up at 6 o'clock in the morning either to watch it.
No, exactly.
No, true. But, I mean, I don't know whether Claudio Ranieri would agree with you because, although he said it was a great game and he quite enjoyed it and that he thought it was a good experience for his players, it didn't look to me as if Leicester were at the races, really.
It's funny, isn't it? I mean, look... I find it really interesting that he's actually come out now after the game and said, FA Cup was never going to be the priority and the league is the priority. And he's actually put all his cards on the table there and shows his intentions for them wanting to finish as high as they can in the Premier League. I've got to be honest, I actually think it's a blessing in disguise. And the only thing that they're going to miss out on is more football for the fringe players because... in that running, I think that the depth of their squad isn't fantastic, right. And those guys that have had a lack of first-team opportunities, the Cup was an ideal opportunity to get some of them guys games. And I think that's the one thing that's going to be missing for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching Martin O'Neill last night on Match of the Day, saying, and they asked him, former Leicester manager, of course, about how long it would take them to get over it, and he said probably about 10 minutes. On the basis that he wasn't really he didn't think they were that bothered, but you wonder sometimes.
It's true, and knowing the gaffer, Martin O'Neill, he wants to win it. He'd want to win a game of tiddlywinks. He'd have a sulk if he didn't, and. He was one manager that would have gone into every single game with the intention of winning. Now, I'm not saying that Ranieri didn't pick a team to go on and win, but he certainly showed that his priority is the league by the selections that he made for the game.
Spencer, just picking up on what you said about the FA Cup being a great competition, I so totally agree with you. And then you said, managers indicate whether they're taking it seriously or not by the strength of the teams they field because they want points in the Premier League. But surely the fans want a trophy. And Arsenal are the best example that, if you take the FA Cup seriously, you bring it home 2 years on the trot. And what I was going to say is that Liverpool are not going to win the Premier League. They might get into the top 4, but they've got a great chance of winning the FA Cup if they field their strongest team. Why don't managers think like that? Why don't they think like that?
Yeah. Well, look, I think there's still that balance between, having your players playing midweek and then again at the weekend. The research shows that it takes longer for players to recover, and that there's a far greater chance that they'll struggle to win a game at the weekend if they've played a midweek game.
Yeah,
the data shows that, and it proves that, and it's backed up. The priority should still be the Premier League, and you've got to think about in terms of the league. I'm not sure what it is now, but it used to be that for every place that you finished in the Premier League was worth about £1 million to the club.
Yeah.
Therefore, the priority will be to finish as high up the league as you can.
Yeah, but that's so little these days. £1 million is so little. £1 million plays for one £40,000 a week footballer for 1 year.
Yeah, it's amazing. Isn't
it is. It is. It is. Yeah.
Looking for Leicester. Of course, they've got themselves into this wonderful position in the league that I don't think that he wants to jeopardise that. And, by coming out and saying that the league is his priority, I would imagine that there's been some communication between himself and the owners ahead of the game. And look, I'm going to leave Morelos out and I'm going to leave Vardy out. I'm going to put him on the bench. And this wouldn't have been something that Ranieri would have done on his own.
Yeah,
he would have had constant communications with the owners around his ideology in terms of focusing on the league. And you know what? They would have given him the tick, and you just go for your life in the league and finish as high as you can. He came out and says he wants 79 points.
Yeah,
I think that it would be a struggle, given the depth of their squad, to focus on the cup as well as the league.
And what about a team like Spurs? Because Spurs have got to focus on what they say. Well, the players say, anyway, is everything. They've got the Europa League, they've got the FA Cup. They still fancy their chances of not only being in the top 4, but maybe winning the league.
And you know what? Ian, I've put a wonderful squad together, and even leaving Harry Kane on the bench, I thought they just looked superb. They really did. They moved the ball around well. They're a very, very young side. They played great proactive football, playing out. They press high up the pitch. And to be fair, on the game, if we look at it just as a game that this evening, you'd think, look at the depth of the Tottenham squad and go, they absolutely battered Leicester, particularly for the first half. Leicester seemed content to really let Tottenham have possession. And while they didn't really test out Kasper Schmeichel, they absolutely dominated. And fair play to Tottenham. I think they've developed and put together a wonderful squad that will be competitive right away through. And potentially, I don't think they'll win the league. I think they'll challenge for the top 3. But I'll be very surprised if they go on and win it.
Yeah, I think so too. What about Manchester City? Do you think they want to win the FA Cup this year as well?
I think Man City want to win everything. I think, Pellegrini's under a lot of pressure, whether that's from internally or externally, and the talk of Pep coming in and taking over. I believe that the philosophy at that club is to go and win absolutely everything while still focusing on the Champions League. I think that's the one main focus. The Champions League will be very, very high up on their list this year, given past, I don't want to call them failings, but not being able to progress further than they have. That said, they're still in a wonderful position with the league, so of course you want to be the domestic champions in your own comp, but I still think the Champions League will be their priority, with the FA Cup coming third on the list, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon so. Well, listen, Spencer, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'm sure it's much nicer down there where you are than it is where we are at the moment. But we'll talk some more about the FA Cup and the fourth round draw coming up. Let me do a few tweets for you.
Yeah, let's do that, man.
As we look, though, it's 4-1 to Joe Conter in the in the second set. So it could be all over very soon.
The British number one.
Yeah,
powering a winning furrow across Australia.
Yeah, well, not quite, but she's in Melbourne doing quite well.
Yes.
Now, here's one from someone who doesn't give a name. They've texted into 81089. New planet is discovered, no sign of intelligent life, therefore to be named Planet Parry.
Oh, yeah? Thank you very much indeed.
Mark says, osteoporosis is brittle bones. You mean osteoarthritis?
No, I don't.
Plank.
I don't. I mean, I'm reading medical reports, and I'm telling you...
You sure you don't mean osteoarthritis?
No, I wouldn't want to get that wrong. Osteoporosis. Kyphosis is the main one.
Yeah.
Kyphosis, increasingly common problem, and that comes from Michael Grevitt, a consultant spinal surgeon at Nottingham University Hospital. I used to go there. I used to...
Is that Nottingham Polytechnic Hospital?
No. I used to break into the nurses' home.
Why?
To find nurses.
To find nurses?
See what I mean?
What, you mean you weren't actually invited in?
No, well, sort of, yeah.
Why would you go to just prowl around?
No. We met the nurses in a pub.
Unbelievable.
You weren't allowed to go back with them officially through the front door.
Right.
So we used to go up the fire escape at the back, and the nurses used to open the fire escape door, but... The problem was the alarm used to go off, so you had to run away quickly before somebody came and investigated.
Oh, dear. Sounds like a smash and grab scenario.
But no, this may further be complicated. This is the official medical report by osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, which sometimes causes fractures which can be so minor that you may not even realise that you've broken your neck.
Yeah.
In the worst cases, says the same doctor, these changes result in a markedly stooped posture and vision can be affected as it puts a strain on the optic nerve.
Well, I wonder if the way you're looking at your device now that it's just right in front of your face might actually be worse.
No, I don't think so. I think, and listen, I think we should actually, to help our listeners understand my device, should we put a picture of it out? And
we can do that, yeah.
Let's put a little picture of it out and to show our millions of listeners what we're doing to try and help them in these challenging times,
All
okay?
All right, we'll do that during the next pause in the show.
Yes.
Les in Manchester says, Dear Mike G and Mike P, about your subject on the alignment of the planets, which are Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn and Mercury.
Yes.
Although they can be seen from now, the best time to see them is just before and during sunrise, and the best date is the morning of the 5th of February.
Wow.
Which, funnily enough, is the same date we're going back to the Hen and Chickens.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, our next
February. So in the morning,
show.
So in the morning of that day, that's the best time to see the alignment of the planets. Now, how about this from Tony, who says, Mr. Parry reminds me of Rigsby. He always claims to have a talent in everything.
No,
That's
I don't.
With reference to your rally driving skills.
Well, I tell you what, it was very exciting, but I eventually got banished from the team for a misdemeanour. Yeah. But I'll tell you all about it in a minute.
Yeah, tell us about
Listen,
that.
I'll tell you what I want to mention to you, because you mentioned it very briefly at the start.
Yeah, go on.
This guy, Crispin Blunt, who is a Tory MP.
That's right, yeah.
Who is taking these, what is he taking? Poppers.
Yeah.
Now, what's all that about?
Well, I mean, basically, they're trying to pass
these legal,
a new law.
these poppers?
Poppers are legal, yeah. They're trying to pass a new law to make legal highs illegal, which is kind of one of the most stupid and more ridiculous wastes of time that the Parliament have ever been involved in. Because one of the reasons that legal highs are not illegal is because they do not breach any kind of drug enforcement rules at the moment.
Right.
And whenever they do move the goalposts and say, this is now an illegal drug, they just manufacture it in a slightly different way, pharmaceutically, so that basically it's no longer illegal. And poppers have been in use for a very, very long time, and they're particularly sort of used by the gay community. And Crispin Blunt openly admits that he's gay and openly admits that he uses poppers, and he says that it would be ludicrous to ban these or make them illegal, because it would mean that anybody who was trying to think of taking seriously the government's legislation would say, well, why are they banning those?
Yeah, but do these things have a negative effect on your health in the same way that we know that cigarettes does and that sort of thing?
Well, I mean, I don't suppose they're particularly good for you, but I mean, what they're not is highly dangerous Class A drugs.
What the poppers are highly dangerous Class A drugs?
No, they're not, I'm saying.
No, they're not.
Well, that's what he's saying, anyway.
So why do people want to ban them then?
Well, because they're in this kind of, enthralled way. The government are trying to sort of clamp down. I mean, they can't ban...
Sounds like a bit of the nanny state coming into me.
Well, first of all, they can't. I mean, they've lost the war on drugs anyway.
Yes.
So illegal drugs all over the place.
Yes.
Now they're trying to ban the ones that they claim are legal, so that there's more illegal drugs than there are legal drugs. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Despite Mr. Blunt's plea... MPs voted in favour of the ban on poppers and a dozen other currently legal highs. Oh, I see. It's classed as a legal high.
It is, yeah.
I see.
It's used during sex, basically.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
Well, that's a bit of a shock.
Is it?
Oh. So this, in fact, is a...
What do you mean, oh? I've never heard that noise come out of you before.
No, but this is a Rogerisation stimulation
It is, basically,
tablet.
yes. Well, it's not a tablet so much as it comes in a little bottle.
Oh, you sniff it, do you?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Oh, it's so a popper isn't like a little pill you put in your mouth?
No.
What is it?
Well, it's like sort of sniffing a very strong substance.
Oh, here, there's a picture on it. Says amyl nitrate.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
So why do they call it poppers then, if it's amyl
I can't
nitrate?
explain, we haven't got time.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The pressure's on now.
Relieve the itch. Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two Mikes, and I'm delighted to say, Mr. Parry, that we've got a tweet here from Roy who says, with his wire coat hanger phone holder, the image I'm getting is of the Borg from Star Trek, Next Generation, #PorkyBorg. And we said we were going to sort of put a picture out, but actually we go one better than that, because it turns out that our executive producer was actually videoing that exchange that we had.
You see, these sneaky cameras, they do my head in.
Yeah,
they really
you never
do.
quite know. So we're going to put that out on Two Mikes TV very shortly.
Yeah, but hang on, I haven't actually perfected the actual. In fact, I'm told it's already been posted.
Oh yeah.
Now hang on, I deserve a say in this. I'm not sure this is right.
All right, well,
I haven't actually.
It hasn't made it to the system yet. That I
haven't perfected the what is it called?
The prototype.
The
device.
prototype. Yeah. But it's a great idea. But people might listen. I found something out in the break which is quite disturbing. Well, it's not disturbing. It's interesting.
Well, go on.
You know, you were talking about the gentleman, Mr. Crispin Blunt.
Yes, indeed.
Who is the chap at the centre of some controversy.
Yeah.
Because, for instance...
The popper scenario.
It says on the front of one national newspaper tomorrow, posh MP partial to partying, pickled on poppers.
Oh, very good headline.
So it says that upper crust Tory MP Crispin Blunt stunned the House of Commons yesterday by admitting regularly uses party drug poppers. Guess what I've just discovered?
Yeah.
He is MP for the area in which my sister lives.
Is that right?
And she has hosted him at a reception at her home.
Has she?
Yes.
Well, with the 7 ensuite bathrooms and everything?
No, that's the other sister.
The other sister?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
My God. What is going on here?
Oh, blimey. Well, let's hope that he wasn't doing any poppers while he was there. But I'm quite encouraged that, if this is the first sign of an MP coming clean on what they used to, or what they get up to in their spare time, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Honesty is the best policy.
Dr. Carol Cooper, right, who is a well-known celebrity doctor, she says it's dangerous, it's not fun. She says there are no withdrawal symptoms from sniffing amyl nitrate, which is what it is.
She says it's dangerous.
She says it's dangerous.
Right.
She says there are no withdrawal symptoms from sniffing amyl nitrate, but that's where the good news ends. It is a potent chemical that dilates blood vessels and can send blood pressure plummeting to a dangerous low.
Yeah.
While users may get away without serious harm, amyl nitrate is potentially lethal for those with heart diseases. I better stay away from it.
Yeah,
then.
well, funny enough, Tony's texted in saying it's bad enough when Porky's on a Red Bull. Please don't let him near poppers.
You don't get him on the amyl nitrate. That's
Joe
right.
Conter, by the way, just won 6-2, 6-3.
That's
2
excellent.
straight sets.
This young lady's going to have a great tournament.
She's a great player as well, I must say.
Or anyone taking Viagra. So I'm not on the Viagra. I'm delighted to be able to tell you.
Glad to hear that.
And I'm not on the amyl nitrate.
Yeah. Well, stay away from it would be my advice. Steve says this. Is there a sport that Porky hasn't participated in over the years?
Well, I've had a long, colourful, interesting life.
Yeah. Now, Fred says, I'm sure Porky says an episode of A League of Their Own. Or I'm sure Porky saw an episode of A League of Their Own. That's how he knows the terms for rally cars.
No. I believe
Sounds
me.
like a genuine story to me.
Anyway, I tell you what happened. So happened I got banished from the team. I was navigator.
Yeah.
But I wasn't very good, according to my mate.
Well, you can't just be a rally driving navigator overnight, can you?
No, you can't. So I used to do it in the sort of minor rallies, okay?
Yeah, right.
But when he was in one which was like Dealer Team Vauxhall or something, he had a professional sort of navigator with him,
Well, you'd need that, wouldn't you?
So I got relegated to basically being a roadie.
Yeah.
So I had to drive the van around, right?
Yeah.
And in the back of the van were all the spare wheels and all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
So I used to have to go ahead of the team and be at each.
So were these kind of regular nighttime occurrences then?
Yeah. We used to do it most Saturdays throughout the sort of autumn and got too cold in the winter.
What about the pubs and everything else? I mean, surely by Saturday evening, around about 10 o'clock, you'd have had a few drinks.
No. You had to stay right off that. But
well, of course.
But usually,
I can't imagine you doing that.
Usually when you got back at 5 or 6 in the morning, the pubs would open specially and all that kind of stuff. But and the time I drove one back, by the way, and I said I stopped in a pub car park. I literally stopped for 1 pint, because that's all you can legally drink.
Of course.
And I went in the pub, had a pint, thought it was great, came out, and I was preening myself because I had this magnificent rally car, and everybody was looking at me, and I got in and shut the door, and I flicked the switch dropped off.
Right.
The car didn't start.
How come they left you in charge of the car?
Well, I had to take the car back because there were all the trailers with all the other cars had gone, and they said, we'll just have to drive it back, you know. But anyway, the point of the story is, when I was like roadie rather than navigator, I was driving the van, and the other person in the van accompanying me was the very glamorous girlfriend of my mate's brother, who was also a rally driver and a senior rally driver to my mate. You see what I mean?
Right.
Problem was, we stopped for a liaison.
What, you and the girl?
Yes, on the banks.
What, even though she was with somebody else?
Well, he wasn't in the car, of course. He was driving in the rally.
She had a boyfriend.
Her boyfriend was my mate's elder brother.
Right.
And we stopped for a liaison on the banks of the River Coquet.
Coquet?
Right. Yeah, C-O-Q-U-E-T.
Right.
The River Coquet in Northumberland, right?
Yeah. Right.
On a beautiful morning, it was like autumn, it was like September.
What, you mean
like
early hours of the morning, that kind of thing?
No, about 5 o'clock. When
5 in the morning?
When the rally was finished, we had to then get back to the rendezvous point, which was a pub, know.
Well, where was her boyfriend then? He wasn't driving.
No, he was driving his car back to the rendezvous point to put it on the trailer.
Oh, I see.
So I was driving the van with all the spares in, and we stopped for a liaison on the banks of the River Coquet.
That's disgraceful.
And we were in the middle of the liaison when said boyfriend suddenly turned up.
Oh, dear.
We didn't know he was coming back the same route as us. We thought he'd gone a different way. No, he chased me down the river. But I then got banished from the team.
I'm not surprised. But that's typical of you. So you betrayed the man's trust, basically.
I didn't know
he said, why don't you take my girlfriend in the van and be more comfortable for her?
Exactly.
And you basically just,
Well, she fancied me like mad. She fancied me like mad. She was from Manchester and she invited me to her New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
She said, that's the next time we'll see each other, just turn up. But of course, never did, because you get so many offers on New Year's Eve. I didn't go out New Year's Eve anyway. Listen, I'll tell you one guy who might be on the old...
you don't want to hear my rally driving story, then?
In a second. You're
not interested in anything that I have to say.
Go on. Yeah, but I bet it's not as interesting as mine.
Well, no, it's not. It doesn't involve any kind of chicanery.
Right.
It doesn't involve any kind of betrayal.
Okay.
And it doesn't involve any kind of illegal activity.
So it's a boring story.
Well, no, but it's a story nonetheless.
Yeah, go on.
And it's about how I actually drove a rally car as opposed to being thrown out of a rally driving team without having driven one.
Does our technical team have a boring story alert?
No, I don't believe they have.
You have a boring story alert?
Because they'd have to keep playing it all the time and you banging on about all the boring stuff that you've never done in your life.
I don't think so. Anyway, tell us your rally story.
Well, it was when I was working for the Daily Express, funnily enough, and you'd already left the shores to go and work in America to conquer the new world.
Yes.
And there was a story about this couple who had been chased. There was a spate of sort of carjackings in France where people would be chased by guys either on scooters or in cars.
Yes.
And they would sort of ram them and basically end up stealing the car, leaving it by the side of the road and taking all their belongings.
What's the point of stealing the car you've just rammed and dented and is worthless?
Well, they didn't ram it. They were very clever at doing it. They rammed it in such a way that it wasn't particularly badly damaged, but most drivers would be put off. But this one particular guy had just done a rally driving course at Silverstone.
Right.
And so what he was able to do was to escape from them by doing a handbrake turn and suddenly going the other way up the road and got away from them.
Like a James Bond type thing.
So it was a big story at the time. It was like front page news and all this. And
doesn't sound like a big story to me.
It was a big story at the time.
It's been a quiet news day.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, you probably hadn't filed anything. You hadn't bothered getting out of your bed as usual. So in the end, what happened was they said, we want you to go to Silverstone and do this rally driving course. Right?
This is it.
This is a great story, this.
Yeah,
anyway, so I went to the Silverstone rally driving place.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thanks, John. That's very good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I won't forget that. And so I learned how to drive a rally car, and I learned how to do the understeer, I did the handbrake turns.
That's very useful,
I drove straight at a wall at 90 miles an hour and was able to, manoeuvre it around.
When you hit it, the wall collapsed, but you were all right.
No, I didn't actually.
Your gross weight.
No, because my story's true, you see, unlike yours, which is no doubt embellished with all sorts of cobblers, because, you write every story that involves you ends up like some kind of Robin Hood saga.
How dare you.
Anyway, so I had a great day, and I learned how to do all that rally driving stuff, which you don't know how to do.
Excellent.
So that's my story.
Yeah, I know how to do all that sort of stuff. I know what a handbrake turn is.
I didn't, leap on anybody's girlfriend on the way home.
Well, she came on to me.
I didn't stop in any pubs.
It was she who...
I wasn't chased down any rivers.
Do you know how hard it is to drive a Ford...
like the Indiana Jones of journalism.
Do you know how hard it is to drive a Ford Transit van full of spare wheels and carburettors and all that kind of stuff when a girl sitting next to you in the front of the van is literally massaging your upper thigh region? I
do, actually,
Yeah?
I can tell you a few stories like that if you want, but I don't think I'd be allowed to.
Yeah, okay.
This is Talk Sport. He is Mike Porky Parry. I'm Mike Graham.
Laying off the bickies? Unlikely. Actually using your gym membership? Good luck with that. Putting a bit of money away? Finally, a realistic resolution. Thanks to the Tesco mobile sale, you can get £36 off a Samsung Galaxy J5 at just £15 per month. And it doesn't even require sacrifice or willpower or any of those horrid things. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
£36 is the device cost saving over 24 months. Sale ends 31st January. 24-month credit agreement at 0% APR representative with Tesco Mobile required. Subject to availability and status. Terms and charges at tescomobile.com.
Left foot, right foot, left. Running would be left foot. So much more fun. Right foot. If it was five-a-side. With Lucas A Power League. Goes round the keeper and blasts it home. Get yourself fit in 2016 and have fun with Lucas A Power League. Join a competitive league today and your first match is free. Save up to £49.50. Get out, get fit, get in. With more locations than anyone else, visit your local centre or powerleague.co.uk.
Drive on Talk Sport, the UK's only sports-dedicated drive time with Sky Sports. The sharpest analysis on all the day's action from the giants of sport.
Shane Warne is with us on the show. How you doing, Shane?
G'day, guys. How are you?
Laser-guided comment and rapid reaction from a nation of sports fanatics.
Into the corner of the net.
Drive home with Darren Gough and Adrian Durham.
Who else?
Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport with Sky Sports, the home of the Barclays Premier League.
Talk Sport.
Goals galore.
Give it a workout.
Oh, my word!
On DAB, digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Talk Sport.
TalkSport, we are the two mics. Coming up a little bit later on in this hour, we'll be talking to a woman who has apparently trained a fish to play a musical instrument vis-a-vis a glockenspiel and some bells. I don't know how that's going to play out, but
glockenspiel?
Yeah, well,
bells?
A fish that plays glockenspiel and some bells.
What?
It's a pretty extraordinary story.
Pretty crazy,
and,
that one.
she's over in America. Diane Rains is her name. And then later on is Porkyvision, of course, as well.
Certainly is.
But you can keep your tweets and your texts coming in. Tweet us at the two mics, at Mike Parry 8 and at IROMG as well. Lots and lots more of those things to read out. If you want me to read some, I will. Would you like me to?
Yeah, sure. But I want to know why we've put out this video of my new device. It's only a prototype, as you quite rightly say.
Yes.
I'm seen to be holding it in place because it wasn't properly fixed to the bracket. No, not the bracket. The what am I looking for?
The hanger.
The hanger.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a hanger. No, it was a metal device around my neck.
A hanger.
Well, I mean, it might be, but I mean, that was only just a temporary thing, you know. But anyway, I suppose it's there now. It's on Two Mics TV. People want to have a look at it.
It's not my responsibility. It's our executive producer who
well,
filmed it.
You know, we need some control over this. We need some control. People do it for the wrong reason.
Well, I don't
think people are going to laugh. In fact, people are not going to laugh. People are going to admire.
Some people are suggesting you are a bit of a plank, including Roy. And then here's one from where we are, Woodenhead, who we haven't heard from for a while. It says, instead of a navigator, why don't you just rally drivers just strap a magnetic pigeon to the bonnet?
Well,
that's going back on an old one, isn't it?
I tell you what, mate, that's not too far from the truth of what might happen in the future, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And Dan says, he's obviously been impressed by the video. He says, please can you tell me where I can buy Porky's hands-free device?
Thank you.
Best thing since sliced bread.
Thank you.
Thank you. Leamington Spa.
That's right. If you have a look at it, you'll see it there. Don't worry.
Here's one from Joshua. It says, man of the people, ruining relationships since 1954.
What?
And what about this? Stephen says, about Porky's new intention about changing the world. Which world is this supposed to be exactly? Hashtag plank.
I don't know, honestly, what you're talking about here. You know, all I do is try and help. You know, I participate in the global economy because if people didn't, there wouldn't be a global economy. Without a global economy, none of us would have any wealth, would we?
And then here's one from Masha, who says, can you picture Porky being chased along the river after being caught pants down Rogerising his friend's girlfriend?
Excuse me.
Shocking. That's a terrible image, isn't it?
It is a shocking image. Mind you, I was much younger in those days, much more attractive.
Well, you'd have to be quick on your feet.
Much more attractive even than I am now.
Backhanded betrayal that was going on. And then Damien says, Porky is so boring. 20 minutes to tell a 2-minute story.
What?
See, they're not saying my stories are boring.
What? That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Very true.
I think so.
And then Jim says, Porky's always accusing MG of having the morals of an alley cat, yet he tells many a tale of a very dubious morality on his own part, like the one just now. Hoist by your own petard, Porky.
Yeah, but
you are the most flaky cove.
No, I think you'll find that there were nobody involved in that little contretemps or that little sort of liaison had any official assignations to any other human being, if you see what I mean.
No, I don't see what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Well, I was saying nobody was, married to anybody or anything like that.
Yeah, but still somebody's girlfriend that you're in the company of. I mean, you're supposed to somehow be, at least relatively loyal to the people you're hanging around with.
The guy concerned, the elder brother, was a bit of a plank, to be honest. So, it didn't surprise me when she came on.
Did he not try coming after you again subsequently, though?
Oh, well, that's what I mean. I never went anywhere near the place again.
Did they break up subsequently? Or?
They did, actually, yeah, funny enough, yeah.
So you got no concern about that?
Well, I was concerned. Shall I tell you who I think's one of the bravest men in the world at the moment?
Who?
My old mate, AVB.
Oh, yeah?
Andrew Villas-Boas.
Andrew Villas-Boas. Is he still out of Zenit St. Petersburg?
Well, this is the problem. He's at St. Petersburg. He says,
you haven't done it for a while. I think you're out of practice on that one.
No, he says Roman Abramovich is sucking people too soon. He sucked people too soon. Now, the thing is...
What's going on with him, then?
Well, the thing is, he's at Zenit St. Petersburg, right?
Yeah.
Which is in Russia.
St. Petersburg?
Yeah.
St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, which is in Russia,
More
right?
More than one Peter.
Right?
Yeah.
He's saying that over there, I think Roman Abramovich is paying the price for sacking so many managers at Chelsea.
Right.
Now, when I last investigated the structure of Russian hierarchy and the political background to it all,
right.
Mr. Abramovich was a very close friend of Mr. Putin.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Putin is the... totalitarian leader of Russia.
He is.
I'm not saying he's
a man that you admire, though.
He's a man I admire, and he's not a totalitarianist, but he is indisputably the leader of Russia.
Yeah.
Now, I just don't know if it's a very good idea for AVB in his job in Zenit St. Petersburg to start...
What, you mean on sort of home soil, as it were?
Home soil, having a go at Mr. Abramovich, who's a big mate, Mr. Putin, who runs Russia with a rod of steel and iron. Now, I'm not suggesting that AVB might end up in the Siberian salt mine, because they don't do those sort of things anymore. But
no, they basically just poison you with some kind of... I was watching the news earlier on tonight.
Yes.
And
the son of
Litvinenko's son, saying that he wants to know what really happened to his dad.
But we can't...
He was poisoned with, plutonium, right?
Yeah, plutonium, the orange stuff.
Yeah.
But we can't for a minute make any suggestion on this show, which is a family show, that there's going to be any dubious behaviour in that sort of manner perpetrated by anybody in Russia against AVB.
No.
I'm just saying that I'm not sure it's a great career move for his longevity as a manager in Russia to go around criticising Mr. Abramovich.
I mean, what could happen, and this is not entirely out of the realms of possibility, is that basically, some change could be made at Zenit St. Petersburg, and suddenly the owners might have get a phone call from someone and say, "Isn't it time you found a new manager?"
That's what I'm suggesting may happen, and who knows who'd make that phone call? But a lot of people, a bit like the reason why the Canterbury murder happened,
Canterbury murder?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Thomas More?
Thomas More. Who will... No, Thomas à Becket.
Thomas à Becket. Who will rid me of this...
Troublesome priest. Okay?
Yeah.
So, people in situations like Russia often do things to try and please the leader, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you never really know where you stand, if you understand what I'm saying.
No, but I get what you're saying. I mean, it certainly is. It's a dangerous game to be playing, is it not?
I think so. A very dangerous game as well.
Yeah, right. Now, are you going to be able to give us a sort of a regular series of updates on Andy Murray's game this afternoon over in Melbourne? It's not starting yet. It's going to be starting around about 3 o'clock, we believe.
Well, I think between us we'll be able to keep our millions of listeners posted as to how
I was rather
Andy
hoping
is
you would take the responsibility, really.
Why?
Well, because you're such a tennis aficionado.
Yeah,
you said to me the other night that you were much more in tune with the tennis world than I am.
I think I probably am. Now, I tell you what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about dogs again, right?
Dogs, yeah.
Because
you see that ridiculous story in the front of the Times yesterday?
Well, about the stick.
Yeah.
This is what I want to talk to you about.
Throw sticks for your dog. What an absolute load of old rubbish.
Well, you see, I don't know how you can say that. If there is evidence...
I can say it because I have a dog, which you don't, and I can throw a stick for my dog without the dog becoming, fatally damaged.
Excuse me, if there's evidence... There
isn't evidence.
Hang on, there is. If there's evidence of only one little dog suffering a severe reaction to chasing a stick and then the stick disappearing down his throat, giving him terrible internal injuries, then you've got to stop throwing sticks for your dog.
True.
Do you throw sticks for your dog?
Yeah, of course I do.
Well, that's outrageous.
That's like saying you shouldn't drive cars on the road because some people crash them. The point is that we are living in a world now where everything is bad for you. Now they're going to tell us things are bad for the dog. It's absolute nonsense.
If one little doggy is at risk, you mustn't do it. Okay?
There was a veterinary surgeon surgeon,
yes,
right, who was being interviewed by Sky yesterday afternoon, who spoke very, very sensibly about the whole thing, and he said basically it's about knowing your own dog. And he says one of the reasons why sometimes dogs will have a problem is either because the stick might be too small and it could get wedged in their throat, so make sure the stick is big enough, which of course is common sense. Second of all, you can't stop dogs from picking up sticks because they like running around with sticks. As simple as that. And the idea that suddenly you should be saying, oh no, don't. I mean, you know, how do you know if you throw them a ball, they're not going to swallow that?
Well, yeah, but you see, the ball's usually too big. Now,
no, it's not. They have small balls.
Let me tell the audience what this is about. A top vet has ordered dog owners to stop throwing sticks for their pets after a rise in the number experienced...
Is she related to that woman who's warning us that we shouldn't have a drink as
Hang
well?
on. Quotes horrific injuries.
Rubbish.
Grace Webster.
Rubbish.
Now, don't deride this woman, because I'll tell her her title is President of the British Veterinary Association in Scotland.
I don't care.
So it's your home country, right?
I don't care. My home country is Britain.
Warned of the dangers of playing fetch with pieces of wood after a collie called Maya, M-A-Y-A, got a 10-centimetre stick. Now, that's quite a big stick, 10 centimetres. You said
10 centimetres is not big at all.
10 centimetres is a big stick.
10 centimetres is tiny.
Right, a 10-centimetre stick wedged in her throat.
Yeah.
Throwing sticks for your dog can be dangerous and lead to horrific injuries that can be very distressing for both you and your dog.
Yeah, well, of course, if you're going to throw a stick
Cuts
that's
to the mouth.
3.9 inches long, you know, of course the thing's going to get stuck in the dog's throat.
Cuts to the mouth, cuts to the tongue.
My dog picks up sticks that are about 3 feet long.
Lodged in their throat.
You're talking rubbish.
She says even when the initial wound is treated, splinters of wood have often got stuck,
she needs to get a
requiring
life.
operations.
She needs to get a life, this woman.
Sarah Stevenson from Bishop's Briggs Veterinary Centre in Glasgow, which treated Maya after she punctured her tongue so severely it displaced her larynx. My God, this is a horrific injury.
Yeah.
Reported a rise in the number of dogs admitted with injuries from sticks.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to throw a 4-inch stick at a dog, which has got quite a big dog, you know, there is a chance that the dog will swallow the stick. But you don't throw a stick that's that small.
I tell you what, there's an even more tragic story this week. Did you read the one about the little dog that drowned?
No.
It was terrible. The little dog was only...
You're doing a real downer tonight, aren't you?
Oh, well, I mean, this broke my heart. There's a picture of this lovely little dog, OK? Yeah. It's called Colin.
Colin?
Colin, honestly. Yeah, I know.
It's an odd name for a dog.
It is, yeah. A 4-month-old dachshund, right?
Well, dachshund, as some people call it.
Yeah, dachshund, yeah. Whose mother twice won Best of Breed at Crufts, OK?
Oh, yeah, right.
And this little dog, a pedigree puppy... was the pet of 2 little girls, aged 6 and 9.
Yes.
Little girls called Clementine and Jemima.
Doesn't matter what they're called, does it really?
Well, no, I'm trying to paint the picture for this terrible tragedy that's happened.
We haven't got a lot of time for painting a picture.
And their parents...
We're talk to a woman who's trained fish how to play musical instruments.
In a minute. Their parents paid £60 to send Colin and their other dog, Coco, to a centre, dog grooming centre, OK?
Right.
This is in Woodbridge in Suffolk, which is a very nice place. It's near Orwell Quay, where I keep my boat,
very
OK?
Nice. Right.
So I know this. What happened is somebody left a gate open to the spa, the pool that the dog's paddling.
Right.
And this little dog, who's only 4 months old, ran through, dived in, got caught in a net at the bottom and drowned.
Oh, dear.
Oh, it's terrible. Well, it's a terribly sad story.
Lawsuit coming there.
What a terribly sad story. Yeah. The dog, I know this is irrelevant, but the dog cost £900.
Really? Well, that's why you think it's tragic.
Well, of course it's very tragic, yeah. We feel robbed. He was such a young and lovely dog. We could have had another 12 years with him.
Yeah.
I mean, God, it's terrible.
Well, there's a lot of tragedy in the world. I'm sorry that you feel so deeply about this.
It is horrible.
It is horrible. It's awful. But, you know, a lot of people have terrible tragedies that happen to them.
The centre's owner, Helen Brown, said we're all really devastated.
Yeah.
Well, the gate was accidentally left open. Yeah. Oh, dear me.
Shocking.
Terrible.
Don't take your dogs to a place like that. That would be my advice.
Well,
this is Talk Sport. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about goldfish and what you can train them to do. This is Talk Sport.
We've managed to beat the record of away wins because we play comfortably away from home. And it looks like it drags the ball into our goal instead of into the opponent's goal.
Hello, Mrs. Sinclair. I've got your weekly supermarket shopping delivery here.
That's lovely. Thank you very much, dear.
Now, unfortunately, we were out of stock when it came to the porridge oats that you ordered, so we've substituted something else that's great at breakfast time.
Oh, yes? What would that be?
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast this morning from 6 on Talk Sport. The cornerstone of any nutritious sports breakfast.
A morning delivery of big names and essential game talk, discreetly wrapped and violently lobbed over the fence onto your radio. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
100% pure Scotch beef.
This morning from 6.
Bear that used to be on his show.
I don't remember the bear. I remember the Osmonds.
Yeah, the Osmonds. Yeah,
Osmond started on his
show.
show.
He used to have a bear on his show.
Did he? A bear?
Yeah, it was
sort
like
of a bear.
A bear that would come on at the end of the show, and he would do this kind of dance routine.
Bears are
with the bear.
dangerous.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
Fish, however, are not. And the reason we're playing that song
Yes.
is because we're about to talk to Diane Rains, who has trained, would you believe, a goldfish to play musical instruments. And the reason we played Moon River, although it wasn't by Barbara Streisand, is because apparently the fish likes that particular song. Diane's from Hudson, Wisconsin. Diane, a very good morning to you here in England. Very good evening to you in Wisconsin.
Hello. I have to say it warmed my heart to hear Moon River. That was indeed George Orr's very favorite song.
Yes, indeed.
Right? Yeah.
Although I read in an article about the fish that it was Barbara Streisand's version that you preferred.
Yes, she really loved that particular rendition of it, and she'd heard it a lot, and she got to the point where she would accompany it by playing a bell, and it was always in precisely the same spot. She liked to do a little bell, sort of an introduction just before Barbara would start to sing, and then she'd just kind of sit back and listen.
Diane, sorry, for the benefit of our millions of listeners, can you explain who the she is in your story you've just told us,
fish.
please? Yes, I know.
Yes.
Yes, but tell us a little bit more about she and her name and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, George Orr was my first musical fish.
Right.
I discovered quite accidentally about her interest in music. I had trained her to ring a little bell for a different purpose. I was a puppeteer at the time, and I wanted to have a little film of a fish playing just a silly little bell.
I see.
And the fish fell in love with ringing bells.
Right.
She enjoyed it so much that I eventually got her a set of children's handbells so she could have a complete octave of notes. And she adored playing those bells.
How did she play the bells, Diana? Because obviously a fish can't pick up a bell and ring it. What, did it used to nudge it with its nose or something?
Well, I actually built a scaffolding on top of the tank, and from that I could suspend the bells. And then there was a little string.
Oh, I see.
But were the bells actually in the water then?
No, because they wouldn't make a noise then.
They were
Excuse
just
me, I'm
above the
asking you.
water, and the string went to the water, so she would pull it with her mouth.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's
And ring it
brilliant.
that way.
That's brilliant. So I've got this great image now where your fish called Giorgio goes up, selects the string, tugs it, and the bell rings.
That's exactly right, and she knew which string went with which sound, so
Golly,
she could
that's
choose
brilliant.
what notes she
That
wanted
is
to
brilliant.
play.
That's truly brilliant.
And of course, one of the things which, of course, largely is a myth about the memory of a goldfish, which is that they don't have any memory at all. I mean, this would more or less prove scientifically that a goldfish does indeed have a memory.
That's very true. They do. I don't know how that myth got started. I've actually had 14 musical fish since George Orr, who I lost several years ago.
Yeah.
And some of these fish I trained to do various things besides music, and there would be sometimes months in between certain tricks. We would work on other things, and then when I would come back to the thing they had learned months ago, they would instantly get it.
It's fantastic. Dan, let me just ask you this. So then you've trained them to pull bells and all that. Were you then accidentally playing music in the background like Moon River? And did you notice that the fish has got so much sensory perception, it was in timing with a particular moment in the song to ring the bell?
That's exactly how I realized that this is an intentional thing and not just her kind of randomly pulling this, bell.
Wow,
for them.
yeah. That's
fantastic. When I first got the idea that she really knew what she was doing, because the notes always fit the music. I mean, they were harmonious.
Yeah.
And so when I first realized this, I actually did an experiment. I played that piece 7 times in a row, and George Orr played the same note at the same point 7 times in a row.
That's incredible. That is amazing.
And obviously you've recorded some of this music, haven't you? I'm told that you're thinking of releasing some of it. Have you got, videos of the fish doing it as well?
Oh, yes. And actually, since George Orr, I've even refined this further. I now have a computerized instrument, and I've had 14 different fish that play this, so that now all they have to do is swim in front of a target in front of the tank, and through a motion-sensing camera and computer software, it plays an orchestral note. So the computer generates, it can be violin, it can be harp, and so I have fish that have now made musical accompaniment with orchestra.
Wow. You haven't got anything you could play us now, which is easy enough to do, have you?
Yes, I do actually, and we have actually released 2 CDs. Where our second one is about to come out. We have a band we call Neptune's Keep. Features 2 humans and the goldfish.
Okay.
So I can play you a little
Could you
snippet.
play us a little snippet from it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, this is from a song that we wrote. I wrote about. We have box elder bugs in this country, which are horrible little beasties that get in everywhere, and we smash them all over the place. So I wrote a song to the tune of a sea shanty, and you will hear the fish playing tuba on this.
Okay.
So just a little...
It's a big instrument for a fish, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yes, but they did like that sound. Okay, here we go.
Now I count as we fasten so far from the shore. Way, hey, smash all the best for everyone. Smash, we will find 20 more. Give me some time to smash all the best.
That's brilliant.
It's horrendous.
No, Dan, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I could hear the tuba there. And just to explain to our listeners again, to get this image in their head, that is the fish swimming in front of the sensor which emits the tuba noise. Is that right?
Exactly. And we have a speaker set up next to the tank so the fish can hear the sound she's making in real time.
Yeah.
And so she literally, and I've sometimes had 2 at a time, so we even have duets where we have fish playing different instruments, and they listen to our music, and then they create accompaniment.
So do they often do their own music? Like, do you come down in the morning sometimes and they're playing, they're just sort of jamming together?
Well, I normally don't leave the whole apparatus set up. There's quite a lot of equipment to make the thing work, and it kind of takes up a lot of our living room. So I generally set it up, in kind of planned sessions with the fish.
Right.
But I'll often, set it up and go away for 10 or 15 minutes and kind of just let them decide if they want to do it or not.
And have you found that some fish are more musical than others, or are they all pretty much the same?
Yes, no, there's quite a range. Just like in people, I've had some fish that were so brilliant at it that when you listen to some of the recordings that we've made, you would think it was a human orchestra. You really wouldn't know.
That's incredible. Dan, the other thing I've got to ask you is, you must presumably have explored the physics of sound through water before you could make this possible, because I don't know about, the sound through water. I don't know if you're underwater, what you can hear. How did you explore all that?
It's quite interesting. I've actually done quite a bit of research on that, and also about the anatomy and physiology, particularly of goldfish.
I mean, do fish have ears? I know that sounds stupid, but do fish have ears? So
They do. Some fish, now they don't, of course, have external ears, but sound goes in through the gills. And they have the same bones, the same inner ear bones that we do.
Oh, like a hammer and all this kind of stuff in the middle of their head? Yeah?
Exactly, they do. And they actually have much more acute hearing because their eardrum is connected to their swim bladder, which is a large air-filled sac that helps them regulate their buoyancy in the water.
Wow.
But essentially, half of their body is a huge eardrum.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, so when sound comes in, I mean, their whole body resonates with sound. And actually, in water, sound carries much more quickly and vibrantly than in air.
That's incredible.
So it's the perfect medium for being absorbed in music.
How about this, Diane, just as a really wild idea? If those fish are so good at hearing noise, as half of their body is a big eardrum, why haven't human doctors thought about transferring goldfish into people's ears who are deaf to give them sound?
Well, now that's an interesting idea. You'd have to be constantly sticking gooey food in your ear to feed the fish. Wait.
No, I don't mean a live fish. I mean the fish is dead.
Kill the fish for their ears.
No,
that's horrible. It's like killing rhinos for their horns.
No, but if half a goldfish is an eardrum, why not kill the goldfish, take the eardrum out, and transplant it into a human who's deaf?
Well, what would happen is, because the large part of that is the sac, which is like a balloon filled with air, and as soon as the fish has died, it deflates.
Oh, I see.
Then it has no function anymore.
But I'll tell you what it's made me think about.
Fascinating
I'll tell you what
stuff.
it's made me think about is that if fish have got such a large capacity for hearing,
yes,
because I've got a fish tank, right?
Yes,
and next to the fish tank, I've got a docking device, to play music on.
Yes, I see.
And sometimes we play music quite loud. That must be quite painful for them then.
They really don't like extremely loud music. I also keep seahorses, and they also love music. They actually dance music.
Yeah.
But they really like soft, kind of lyrical music.
Melodic music.
Yes, and I have actually even found with the goldfish who make the music with my computerized instrument, there are some instrument voices that they do not like.
I see.
They love clarinet. They love strings. I once tried to get them to play Highland pipes. No insult to your Scottish listeners.
Yeah.
They went and hid in the corner of the tank, and they wouldn't come out. So
oh, my God.
Well, that's the bagpipes.
That's interesting to know, and I'm so glad you've shared that information with us, because there might be a cruelty to fish issue here, which we've got to investigate. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating. Diane, if people want to get hold of these CDs, is there a place they can go and get them?
Yes, I will send them to my website. They can get them on cdbaby.com or on iTunes or Amazon, but the best place is our website, which is Neptune's Keep, like the god Neptune, neptuneskeep.net.
Yeah.
You can actually buy them directly on there. And then there are links to our YouTube channel, which has many videos of the fish making music.
Lovely.
And that's the Fish Make Music channel on YouTube.
Oh, that's brilliant. The Fish Make Music channel. Yeah. That sounds absolutely brilliant.
Remember. Well, Diane, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And
Thank you.
Good luck. Do you think you could do it with other fish, like bigger fish?
I've been very curious about this. I've never tried any other species. I do know that some other fish actually have good hearing and even vocalize. For example, clownfish, the Nemo fish, they vocalize. They make sounds. So I've been tempted, but I've kind of specialized in the goldfish and seahorses. So.
Brilliant. Well done.
Seahorses and fish probably good enough, but great stuff. Thank you, Diane, very much.
Great admirer of your work, Diane. Thank you very much indeed.
I've never heard you so impressed by any...
I think that's incredible.
Of course you do. I can see your face.
What I'm saying is...
I can see your face. It's great that their website's got a .net at the end of it.
Yeah, it is. It's .net, I get what you're saying, But what worries me a bit is, do you think that millions of us have been very cruel to fish that we have in our tanks at home by belching out loud rock music?
You haven't got fish in your tank.
Hey?
You haven't got fish.
No, I know, but loads of millions of people have.
Yeah.
And if people are playing loud rock music and thinking, well, the fish can't hear, so it doesn't matter, they've got a memory retention of 2 seconds. But in fact, we are being very cruel to fish.
Yeah.
Matt
says this. How about Bob Marlin and the Whalers? Shouldn't these fish be finding a cure for cancer?
Yeah.
Very clever.
Well, I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I've never seen you so enthralled.
Yeah, it's
great. Forget about finding undiscovered planets. Forget about, explanations of how, fantastic new species of moths have been discovered.
Yeah.
You're fascinated by a singing fish.
I certainly am.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like a child.
No.
This is Talk Sport.
As every sports person knows, timing is everything. It can be the difference between standing on the podium and going home empty-handed. It can be the difference between a sweet first touch that finds the corner of the net and the missed kick that ends up in row Z. And when it comes to hereditary hair loss, timing is vital as well. Because the earlier you start using Regain for Men Extra Strength Scalp Foam, the higher your chances of success. An estimated 7.5 million men in the UK experience hereditary hair loss, many of them before they're 35. But fortunately, Regain is on hand with all the information and support you need to help you separate the facts from the fiction. If you've noticed you're starting to lose your hair, you need to understand exactly why it's happening and what you can do about it. And now Regain has an app that gives you support and advice to track your progress and maintain your twice-daily routine. Download the Regain for Men iPhone app from the App Store today and start separating the facts from the fiction at regain.co.uk. Regain contains minoxidil. Always read the label.
Everyone knows that all the best things come in threes. 3 Amigos, 3 Stooges, 3 Lions. And right now, if you sign up to 888 Sport, you'll get treble the odds on your first bet. Join 888 Sport and harness the power of 3 with treble the odds on your first bet. New customers only, minimum £5 bet to qualify, maximum £10 bet at treble odds. Bet at normal odds, extra winnings added within 72 hours, extra winnings paid in cash. Maximum extra winnings capped at £5,000. See site for full T's and C's.
18 plus. Drive on Talk Sport, the UK's only sports dedicated drive time with Sky Sports. Sports, the sharpest analysis on all the day's action from the giants of sport.
Shane Warne is with us on the show. How you doing, Shane?
G'day, guys. How are you?
Laser-guided comment and rapid reaction from a nation of sports fanatics.
Into the corner of the net.
Drive home with Darren Gough and Adrian Durham.
Who else?
Weekday afternoons from 4 on Talk Sport with Sky Sports, the home of the Barclays Premier League.
Talk Sport. Charismatic, idiosyncratic, and unpredictable. Bah! Talk Sport.
Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While the devoting full time floating under the sea.
That's one of those Disney songs. You recognise that one?
No.
You don't know that
No.
one?
What's
Because
that?
we were only talking yesterday, weren't we, about Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
Yes.
That's Under the Sea, the famous song from The Little Mermaid.
Oh, is it? Oh, I've never
How can you
seen
not
that.
know? Have you never seen The Little Mermaid?
No, of course I've never seen The Little
Very
Mermaid.
famous
Why would I
Disney.
see The Little Mermaid?
Well, because you know so much about Disney, various
but
Disney songs.
you know,
and
I
all
would
the rest of
never have had little children, aged 3 or 4, and take them along to see
Right.
The Little Mermaid, would I?
Well, I don't
Listen,
know.
there's fantastic reaction to our last guest,
Yes,
you know.
the fish lady.
Yeah, everybody loves her. I mean,
Yeah.
some saying thought it was a nut and all this, but if Porky started singing, the fish would bury themselves under the gravel, says Baz. But then a much better one here, it says, this woman is off the plot, absolutely bonkers, fishy business, says Ethan.
You don't think that, though, do you?
No, I don't. And Shazza says, am I going mad? Musical goldfish? Are you real? Yeah, we are real. I thought it was fantastic.
I mean, I have to say, it wasn't particularly brilliant music, but the fact that it's music at all is very interesting. Lord Rallo says, best guest so far, where do you find these people? Hashtag musical goldfish.
Yeah.
And here's one from Paul in Plymouth. He says, hi, guys, surely you could use bass, which is not bad.
Bass, yeah.
And also this one from Big Al. I bet the Fish's favourite musician is the lead singer of Marillion, who is also called Fish.
That's absolutely. Ethan here, you see, that everyone's got the wrong idea about me. Ethan here says, someone must have given Porky a slap.
Yeah.
You can blatantly tell he's mocking these guests with his enthusiasm.
No.
But I think old MG will back me up when I
will
say
attest.
I was not at all mocking the guest. I was overwhelmingly impressed.
I've never seen you so enthralled.
Exactly.
I was almost going to take a picture of the expression on your face.
Exactly.
You were genuinely impressed.
Dom is saying, why do you keep having these nutcases on? She's mad as a crab. In fact, she's not.
Yeah.
She's a woman who's conducted a very intricate scientific experiment with fish and come up with an absolutely revelatory conclusion.
Yeah, I think some people are not taking it seriously enough, though. We Are United says, for once we listen to music worse than Porky's live song covers. And JP says, ask her if the fish will do a Bowie cover.
Yeah. What, a Bowie cover?
A Bowie cover.
Now, Liz, our old friend here, she sent us a couple of messages tonight, and I'm delighted to say she's supporting me again against the odds. She says, that's a really sad story about the dog that Porky's just told. He is a kind, caring and sharing gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
As always.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
from
but you see,
Hilton Towers.
this is the thing. You know, you
Yeah.
come out with this stuff.
Yes.
And people fall for it. Like, you know, they think you are actually a kind, caring,
Well, of course I am.
individual, which you're not. Absolutely not. You tell these stories in order to garner sympathy for yourself.
And she says of you, right, once again, MG, you've been very nasty to Porky.
Yeah, really? Oh, dear.
All you ever read out are the detrimental posts about him.
That's not true.
Give peace a chance. That's
not
again
true.
from Liz. Yeah,
Absolute rubbish.
I think it is.
Well, I mean, if she sends in anything nice about you, I always read it out. Here's one from John in Durham. He says, hey, Porky, maybe you should let the goldfish sniff some poppers so it can get battered.
Yeah, well, you know, that's not a bad idea.
Right.
Old Woodenhead, who's back with a vengeance, he's talking about my video to stop people hurting their neck, but he says, of course, MG gets his neck hurt and has big problems, moving his neck from side to side, checking out all the women he sees in life. So he's got you measured, mate.
Yeah, has he?
Yeah.
Well, Woodenhead needs to be careful because we might be coming to his neck of the woods one of these days and then we'll have another word with him. Richard, who's in Swindon, says, very few people remember the bear on the Andy Williams show. He didn't just appear at the end, but throughout the show, knocking on Andy's door, wanting milk and cookies. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it wasn't a real
about
bear,
that.
though.
Yeah, of course it was a real bear.
Well, what sort of a bear?
It was like it was a black bear, actually, which is generally brown.
Well, it must be a bear cub.
Yeah, no, it was a real bear.
Oh, rubbish.
Of course it was.
A bear would have mauled him and mutilated him.
You can train bears.
You can't train
You've just
bears.
listened to a woman who can train fish.
Yeah, and okay, there was a very famous bear, wasn't there, up in Benbecula?
Yogi Bear.
No, you idiot. But there was a guy up there
What do you call me an idiot for?
Because you are being, specious and ridiculous, okay?
Okay.
And what I'm saying is...
just trying to fit in with the rest of the show.
There's a famous Scottish story about a couple who had a bear on their island in Scotland. And, I tell you...
What happened to it then?
Well, it lived with them as a child, lived in the house and all that. But on one occasion, it went missing.
Right.
And it dived off Benbecula and went swimming off somewhere, right?
Did it?
Yeah.
Huh.
And do you know who was sent up there from the London Evening Standard to find it?
Not the animal.
The animal, yeah. Colin...
Who we've spoken about before.
Yeah, Colin... What's his name? Colin...
Colin?
Yeah, Colin...
Oh, we don't have to give his name out.
Yeah, we do. Colin... he was the guy I told the story about with Arthur Scargill, throw him over the fence.
Yeah, that's right.
Colin the animal...
Yeah.
Whatever his name was,
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway...
The animal will do.
He was sent up there to find him. But, no, I think that's absolutely fascinating stuff. And, I mean, the reason is because... She was not a nutcase at all. She was a woman. When we asked her about, well, how do you know that fishes can hear through water? She had a perfect answer, as though she'd spoken to a professor of physics about the wavelengths of water and all that kind of stuff.
We know that fish can hear, don't we? Because you know that there's all sorts of noises that get made under the sea, and that fish are attracted to some noises and less attracted to other noises. And also, I mean, I know they're mammals, but whales communicate by making noise, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do.
So
Dolphins.
they can hear, but of course they're mammals, so you might expect them to have ears.
Exactly.
I was quite surprised when she said that goldfish have sort of half their bodies basically a giant ear.
A giant ear. It's amazing.
How about this from Colin in Manchester?
Yes.
He says, hi, the two Mikes. What about skate bush?
Skate bush, like it, yeah.
Cod Stewart.
Yeah.
A squid, griole and the coconuts.
Yeah, but look, we've had enough of those, thanks.
I think that's great.
No, these are basically mocking what is a very serious subject, that fish can communicate like that. Because like you, I thought the old story was a fish would always say, oh, this is a nice place, oh, this is a nice place, oh, this is a nice place, and that's why they didn't get bored swimming round in a little bowl. You see what I mean?
You were the one that told me that they didn't have any kind of memory.
Well, exactly.
So now you've been proved wrong.
Listen, talking about fish, by the way,
that.
talking about fish, I've found some more information about Loch Ness.
Have you?
A new report.
Yeah.
It says the hunt for the Loch Ness monster is going to become even more arduous after a retired fisherman went out in his boat with some new sonar equipment and has proved that Loch Ness is about 130 feet deeper than anybody thought.
Yeah, it's very, very dark. I've never seen water as dark as Loch Ness.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When you drive along the side of it, right?
Because it's so deep, you mean?
Well, I believe so, yeah. Yeah, it's massive. I mean, it's almost like black water.
Well,
it's quite spooky.
Oh, right, OK. So Keith Stewart, the skipper of a tourist sightseeing boat, says he's found a crevice large enough for the phantom beast to be hiding in about 9 miles east of Inverness.
Really?
Loch Ness has a maximum depth previously recorded at 754 feet.
Right.
But Mr. Stewart, using new equipment, says his newly discovered crevice is as deep as 889 feet.
Blimey.
Right?
That is deep.
And it's been named Keith's Abyss. What's your problem?
Keith's Abyss.
I wasn't really a believer of the monster beforehand, but now I know where it could be hiding.
Right. Well, that certainly nails it then, doesn't it?
Now, do you know these places?
So he's found a massive crevice and he thinks there might be a monster in it, therefore somehow that makes it, we've got more new information.
Well, yeah, definitely, because he says, I was so intrigued to find this dark shape about halfway between the Clansman Hotel, do you know this?
Yeah, I do, actually.
And the Drumnadrocket.
The what?
The Drumnadrocket.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I know that.
Which transpired to be a crevice or a trench. I measured it with the state-of-the-art 3D equipment. It's 889 feet.
Hang on, why hasn't somebody else ever measured it then? What about Ordnance Survey and all these people?
I don't know.
Why have they never measured it?
I don't know, I can't answer that.
Well, I'm very convinced for many a year that there are, sort of underground tunnels that lead out into the sea.
What, from Loch Ness?
And some people believe there is too, yeah.
Wow.
Which would have meant that that's how the monster could have come backwards and forwards. But, I'm not sure that gives you any extra...
Well, Gary Campbell, president of the Loch Ness Monster Fan Club, registrar...
Well, he's obviously a source worth trusting.
Yeah, exactly. And registrar of sightings said Mr. Stewart's discovery adds another dimension to the search for the phantom beast.
Yeah.
He said the new trench was twice the depth of the North Sea. How about that?
Yeah.
Twice the depth of the North Sea.
That can't be right.
I thought the North Sea was one of the deepest seas in the world.
Yeah, well, maybe he means the North Sea at the point at which it hits the shore, because it can't be deeper than the whole of the North Sea, surely.
Where they drill for oil and all that kind of stuff.
That can't be right.
Well, he says it's twice the depth of the North Sea. Hang on. How deep is 889 feet? Divide that by 3, and that's 300 yards.
Yeah.
300 yards isn't that deep, is it?
Well, it's a long way to swim from the bottom up to the top, isn't it? If you think about it.
Think of running 100 yards
it's
three
the length
times.
of three NFL football fields.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. There have been various attempts to harness technology in the search of the Loch Ness Monster. Last year, the technology giant Google, I didn't realise this, with the help of divers and local experts, used its Street View camera to capture the darker parts of the Scottish Loch. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
Now, I wanted to talk to you, funnily enough, about fairy tales because I don't know if you saw that other story that was around in the last few hours about how they believe now that, because we were talking about this the other day, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and Grimm and all that, they're now saying they think Beauty and the Beast and Rumpelstiltskin and also Jack and the Beanstalk could actually be thousands of years old. They could go all the way back to the Bronze Age.
Jack and the Beanstalk, originally one of a type of stories classified as the boy who stole Ogre's treasure, the researchers said, and could be traced back to the splitting of the Eastern and Western Indo-European languages between 5,000 and 6,000 years ago.
Yeah.
How about that?
Amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
And this comes from an anthropologist at Durham University.
Yeah, that's right.
Jamie Tirani.
Yeah, she worked with a folklorist called Sara Graça da Silva.
And do you know how they found out?
The University of Lisbon. How did they find out?
They found out through phylogenetic analysis used by biologists to investigate evolutionary relationships between the species to trace the descent of folk tales.
What I found interesting, right, in this story was that they said actually they don't even believe that the languages used to tell the stories are languages that we would currently recognise, like not English, not French, not Spanish or Italian. It was actually basically an early kind of Euro language that people used to speak. But I haven't finished.
Yeah, I was listening to you.
What did I say?
It could not have been written in English. It may have been written in another language. I was listening.
No, but not in any language that we now know.
We now know, yeah. Did you know that, because I've forgotten this, Rumpelstiltskin was the guy who used to spin straw into gold?
Yeah, of course. That's the whole point of the story.
Is it?
Well, what did you think it was about?
I thought Rumpelstiltskin was an ugly little elf type fella with a big nose and all that kind of stuff.
But the point was that
I thought he was an evil.
Well, he had magic powers, though.
Evil little fella.
He had magic powers.
Yeah, but you don't imagine little evil people in fairy tales. You imagine like snow queens and all that kind of stuff, don't you?
The Snow Queen was evil.
No, I'm thinking about the one who leaned out the tower and said. Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Juliet, or something. You know what I mean?
Well, that's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but that was based on
You're thinking of Rapunzel.
Rapunzel. Yeah, but wasn't Romeo and Juliet based on a fairy tale anyway? I think it was.
Well, it might have been.
Yeah,
that's not what we're talking about. I think we should get back to talking about singing fish. This is TalkSport. We are the two mics. What's this?
Listen.
Bit of opera.
Yeah.
It's better than the
beautiful.
fish.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's better than the fish, that's for sure.
Now, why are we playing that, do you think?
I've no idea. Why are we playing that?
Do you know who that is?
Well, I could take a guess, I suppose. It doesn't sound like Pavarotti.
So?
Well, because there are not that many other opera singers I know, so I could say it's not Andrea Bocelli. I don't think.
Not Bocelli.
He's the guy that is blind, isn't he? I would say, well, it must be Placido Domingo then.
Thank you very much indeed. I admire you for that. And guess why?
Why?
It's his 75th birthday today.
Oh,
yes,
right.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
And I knew that because, of course, I'm a big follower of Placido Domingo.
Are you?
And I thought to myself,
have you got his greatest hits?
Probably. If you know what I mean. Now, I've got a huge record collection, and probably. Listen, but I mean, they're fantastic, aren't they?
I'm not a big opera fan, to be honest. I mean, I like opera in very small doses.
Nobody in this country was ever taken to opera until 1990, when some junior executive at the BBC said, what about this for the theme music to the World Cup coverage? And, of course, it was.
Eh?
It was.
What? Ness and Dormer.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's not true either. I mean, I went to the opera. My father took me to the opera when I was a child.
Yeah.
You know, we used to go to the opera house.
Why did you do that?
Well, because I think he thought it was worth introducing us to rather classical forms of music.
What, your old father?
What do you mean, my old father? Well, he was probably younger than I am now. I was
crazy old father.
Yeah, but he wasn't crazy then. I was about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And we used to be able to go and buy tickets to go and stand at the very, very top of the opera house.
Oh, really?
There were no seats, and I don't know if they still have that.
Standing,
yeah.
For the opera?
Yeah.
Sounds a bit Shakespearean.
Well, I mean, why not?
Like the Globe,
Yeah, but I mean,
Can
why
you afford seats, proper seats?
Well, probably not. No.
Good God!
And he
you're
probably
joking.
thought, and he also probably thought, if you're going to take a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old to the opera, then you don't want to be sitting in the stalls where you pay some. I mean, it's not that expensive, but I mean, you might be fidgety, you might want to get out, you might not like it.
So
I thought it was a great idea.
You mixed with the peasantry, did you? To watch
Well,
the opera?
funny enough, I don't remember anybody else ever being up there.
Yeah.
I don't wonder whether he had some special access or something to this area. I mean, it was like it was a balcony.
So, in fact, he probably didn't pay for the seats at all.
No, I'm sure he did.
He just gave the guy on the door a backhander.
No, not at all.
So it sounds like.
No, he wasn't like that. My father was a very honest man. I know you wouldn't recognise that.
Yes.
And he cared very much for his children, which I know you also wouldn't recognise.
No, indeed.
So I'm getting sick and tired of you having to go at him.
Well, no, but you tell me what a crazy old coot he was most of his life.
That's not what I said at all.
Yeah, well,
what I said was he took us to, sort of broaden our minds. And I remember going to see Carmen when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and it was a very touching experience.
Don't even worry about it.
So I'm not going to have any of your nonsense.
Don't even worry about it. Now then, Placido Domingo, age 75.
Yeah.
His name translates as Lazy Sunday.
Lazy Sunday afternoon.
Lazy Sunday afternoon, yeah. But the Spanish...
Well, I suppose Domingo is Sunday.
But the Spanish tenor, that's interesting. He's Spanish. I thought he was Italian. Right, but the Spanish tenor... Because, I mean, most of those operetta guys are Italian, aren't they?
Well, certainly Pavarotti was.
Exactly,
I think, is Italian. I'm not sure.
So this guy's Spanish. So the Spanish tenor has concerts on 3 continents this month alone, at the age of 75.
Which is amazing, because you'd think at 75 his voice might not be what it was.
Well, exactly, because, I mean, for instance, Paul McCartney, it is alleged his voice is gone, isn't it? You know, when he does concerts
Well,
now.
I have to say, when I saw him doing the closing of the Olympics, which was when he did Let It Be...
Yeah, but didn't he have acoustic problems
there was some kind of problem with the feedback or something.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Because he was out of sync with the music. But even then, his voice is very thin now.
Anyway, he says he admits romantic duets are now tricky. Duets are now tricky.
Yeah.
When I started, he said, when I started as an opera singer, I sang with women who could have been my grandmother. He says, but today I appear with colleagues who could be my granddaughter.
Yeah.
When they become...
That's time for you.
He says, when they become... yeah, that's right, yeah. When they become my great-granddaughter, I will probably stop.
Why are you speaking in a sort of broken English?
I'm not. I'm just relating it all, you know.
Yeah, all right.
But anyway,
I've got some more Fish for you here.
Oh, good.
Matt says, do you think Fish prefers soul music? That's S-O-L-E.
Look, I want you to stop making jokes about
Why?
this. Because you're trying
Why
to...
are you taking it so seriously?
You're trying to belittle and ridicule a woman who
I'm not
conducted
ridiculing
a
her.
fantastic, and I really mean it, a fantastic scientific experiment, and has opened up the world to the...
I know that you in your
to the
childlike...
intelligence
in your childlike
of fish.
wonder. I know in your childlike wonder you think it's the greatest thing you've ever heard.
I think it's brilliant.
I think the music was left something to be desired. Matty says, I wonder if the Fish playing music are simply the best and go by the name of Tuna Turner. That's brilliant.
I wish you'd stop doing this.
Why?
Well, I don't know why you're making jokes about what is a really scientific experiment and which I found absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Stephen says, I think Mike Parry's being very shellfish, not allowing us to carry on with fish songs. #plankton.
You see? Once again, I mean...
And here's another one. Right, what about this? From Tony, which has now conjured up a terrible image. He says, I will not sleep tonight. I have an image of Porky playing the flute in front of the goldfish tank.
Why not?
Because you would look ridiculous.
No, well, I mean, you see, this is
apart from the fact you can't play the flute.
Because you're trying to belittle it all, and I find that disgraceful.
Not at all.
Utterly disgraceful.
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah,
but I don't think what you would want to do if you were a fan of Moon River, for example, is hear it being performed by fish. That's all.
Well, I think it'd be fascinating to hear it because it's not the music that comes out of it. It's the sheer fascination of realising that one woman, that lady who came on, what's her name again?
Diane Rains.
Has explored the mentality of goldfish, which everybody thought were like 2-second creatures, and found them to be highly intelligent enough to be able to play music. Yeah. It's fascinating.
Adrian says Porky's got a new soldier. It's got a pigeon's brain, fish ears, and duck's feet.
Well, why not?
Military intelligence revealed.
Why not? Hey, talking about fish, by the way.
Yeah.
Talking about fish. I'll tell you what I came across today.
Yeah,
because, of course, my place in Orwell Quay is in Suffolk, right?
Yes.
And so you read...
Well, so you keep telling me. You've never invited me there.
No, well, I read the local nature journals, right? Because, it's a very nature part of the world, you know what I mean?
Well, what sort of nature journals do they have up there, then?
Oh, about, country life and all that kind of stuff. But anyway...
Country life's all about houses, isn't it?
Well, it's about the local habitats
and
all that
hunting
kind of
and
stuff.
shooting and fishing brigade.
Well,
it's not very natural.
Funny you should say about the fishing. Funny you should say about the fishing. There is a chap called... where did I see this? Mr. Carter, Peter Carter.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what he's done to earn a living for the last 50 years?
I've absolutely no idea. Is he a fishmonger?
An eel fisherman.
Hey, I wasn't far away.
Well, you weren't far away. An eel fisherman,
I like
right?
eels. Have you ever eaten eels?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Really?
No.
You should try them.
Aren't they a bit sort of spongy and fatty?
Well, it depends. I mean, I've never had jellied eels, but I have had eels as a sort of a starter in a fish restaurant.
What's the difference?
Smoked eel, for example, is lovely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does it taste like?
Well, it tastes like a smoky, fishy sort of a taste, but its consistency is more like a snail, maybe.
Is it? Right.
It's nice.
I'll tell you the story I remember about eels. You remember the editor of... Was it Phil Walker, who was editor of The Star?
That's him.
But he was previously night editor of The Mirror.
He was at one time, I think
That's
so.
right, yeah. And Phil went through a midlife crisis when his wife found out that he'd been associating with people she didn't like, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
And he got...
What do you mean, of the opposite sex?
Could be.
Hey?
It was, yeah. So he got thrown out. So then he took to sort of, rediscovering dating and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he took this lady out to a restaurant, a posh restaurant.
Yeah.
In East London, if there is such a thing. I suppose
East
there
London.
is.
Well, there is. I live here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, they go into this restaurant and they've got a local delicacy.
Yeah.
Eel.
Yeah.
Right?
Jellied eels, probably, if it's East London.
Well, I don't think we're, because I'll explain you what happened next.
Yeah.
So these eels are served on a plate with something else, I don't know. And he tried to pretend to this woman, who was from the East End, like her origins were, that he knew all about this.
Right.
And he put this piece of eel in his mouth and chomped on it, but he didn't realise the way it had been served, it had a pin through the middle.
Oh, God.
Right?
Right.
So as he chomped on it, the top of the pin went up into the palate of his mouth.
Oh.
And the bottom of it...
Like a dog with a small stick.
Yeah, went into his jawbone just below his teeth.
Oh, dear.
And he had to be carted off to hospital.
Blimey.
Yeah. And
it's not a very successful date.
And after that, you wouldn't eat eel again, would you? You know what I mean?
That would definitely put you off.
That was a very important... But anyway...
I can't imagine what that would be. I've never heard of that before.
But anyway, the reason I'm telling you all this is this chap, Peter Carter, has had to call it a day now on his job, which is eel fishing, on a river... where is it?
It's in Suffolk, isn't it?
Well, it's in West Norfolk.
Right.
He's from Outwell in West Norfolk.
Norfolk.
He's been catching eels in the same way as countless generations of his ancestors. So all his family, have been eel fishermen for the last 200 years.
Right.
But the way they do it on the fenlands in Norfolk has been done for 3,000 years.
Right.
And they do it from a little boat. Right, little boat.
Dirigible.
Eh?
Is it a dirigible?
No, it's literally a little boat.
Right.
It's a little boat. 2 centuries later, the waters run clear, the eels have all but disappeared, and Britain's last eel fisherman has been forced to hang up his traps. How about that?
Well, because there's no more eels.
Hey?
There's no more eels.
There's no more eels.
Well, where have they gone?
Well, I don't know. They've just disappeared.
Right.
And Mr. Carter's own family traced his eel fishing connections back to 14... What are you laughing at?
Why did you bother him with this?
1475.
Well, so what?
Because I love the history of this country, and
Really?
in 1475 they were eel fishing on this river.
You don't like eels?
Hey?
You don't like eels?
I don't particularly like eels, no. But I mean, I think it's a tragedy when these...
There's a lot of tragedy around today.
These local custom... I mean, this guy looks... He looks like he's come from 1495. Look at his hat, for instance.
Yeah.
It's like a right old dropout.
Yeah.
He looks like a bagman.
He does,
Looks like a tramp.
I'm surprised you're in any way in favour of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're running very, very late on time.
Okay.
We've got Porkyvision coming up very soon. This is Talk Sport.
Get into 6th gear for the new year when we play Racking Up the Miles on TalkSport with Arnold Clark. Listen to Hawksby and Jacobs all this week from 1. Go higher or lower as you guess the distances between Europa League clubs for the chance to win a cool £300 fuel voucher from Liverpool to Lisbon and Spurs to Sparta. Go round the grounds to win a thrilling tank-filling £300 of free fuel. Racking Up the Miles on TalkSport with the Arnold Clark Real Sale. With real savings on over 15,000 cars. Search arnoldclark.com.
I checked my road so I didn't miss the match.
I checked my road so I wasn't late for my meeting.
I checked my road so I made my flight.
I checked my road to make sure I made it back for bath time.
While we're making improvements as part of our road modernisation plan, there will be disruptions. Always check your roads before you travel to avoid any unnecessary delays by searching TfL Traffic News.
Transport for London. Every journey matters.
When you need all the latest form and odds on all the day's sporting action, and you need it fast, you need the Coral Daily Download. Get all the latest news and great offers on all the big games and all the biggest race meetings in one essential package. Delivered to your ears at the speed of sound. Don't miss the Coral Daily Download every morning on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast from 6 on Talk Sport with Coral. Your best bet for breakfast.
This morning from 6.
Tell me done something, lazy git. They know what I'm talking about.
On Talk Sport.
What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? What's that coming over the hill?
We are the two mics, lots more coming up. Of course, Porkyvision not far away. Got lots and lots of great texts and tweets coming in on the fish front, I have to tell you. I'm not going to stop reading them out because they're too good, I have to say. Pete in Brighton says, morning, MG. I've got that fishy punk album, Never Mind the Pollocks.
We shouldn't be making jokes
Mark
about this.
says this. I think this is brilliant. Mark says this. I just played my fish music by Seal, and they've all gone and hid behind their rock.
Yeah, well, this is a very serious scientific project, and for you to make light of it only shows what a Philistine you are.
I think what this shows
your
is
lack
how
of
creative.
ability to appreciate things.
I think what this is that we're showing the creativity of our listeners who are coming up with some great stuff. Here's one from Mark, Rob, John and Matt, who say they've almost made it back to Exeter from Liverpool. They say, loving the Loch Ness chat, but not so convinced by the fishy lady. Here's another one that says, can you ask those fish to sing up, please? I'm hard of herring.
I'm not making jokes about these things, and I think it's pathetic that you are allowing our listeners to do that. And to basically destroy the reputation of a woman who clearly has contributed massively to the scientific understanding of animals on our planet.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't heard of her before.
So am I.
If she's made such a scientific discovery.
So am I.
And maybe we will hear more from her again, because it wouldn't be the first time that we give somebody exposure on this show who later turns out to be quite sort of heralded in future times.
Absolutely.
Do you remember that guy we talked to? In fact, was he not the guy who was the dinosaur specialist or something? And it turned out that he was just getting remarried to some 19-year-old. Remember that?
Was he a nutter?
Paleontologist? No, he was not a nutter. No, he was one of our guests.
But I think he was one of the people I said, look, mate, go off and discover a cure for cancer rather than
that you
wasting your time.
Exactly.
Listen,
now, just while we're on the subject of fish, there's something else I want to bring to your attention.
Okay.
There's a report out from the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
And you know that I sometimes question your sources on your report.
Yes.
This source is absolutely pristine.
Right.
And very, very important. It says in their report that oceans will contain more plastic than fish by 2050.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Unless the world... What do you mean you've seen it?
I've seen the report.
Yeah, well, we haven't talked about it.
I've read the report.
Well, I'm glad, so you can then illuminate me on precisely what it says. Because what they're saying, unless radical action is taken to stop rubbish leaking into the sea,
that's right,
there will be more plastic than fish. And this goes back to your eels. Maybe the eels are disappearing in Norfolk
they're not,
because there's too much rubbish.
Because the rivers there are very clean, actually. But in the world oceans, there will be more plastic by 2050 than there are fish in the sea, that's for sure. And
here's that guy, Dr. Jack Horner, his name was. He was on the Chickenosaurus. That guy. Do you remember he was trying, to create a chicken?
That idiot. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't an idiot.
Well, I thought he was. Listen, talking about seas and all that.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus, right?
Yeah.
Now he's credited with discovering America.
Yes.
I suppose that's why Columbia is such a big name.
There's funny you should say that, because there's also Amerigo Vespucci, isn't there?
For the Portuguese guy.
Yeah.
That's why America's called America.
Yeah, well, I thought Amerigo Vespucci was also Italian, wasn't he?
Amerigo.
Yeah.
He was Portuguese.
Was he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
But
I used to go to a restaurant in Canary Wharf called Amerigo Vespucci's, and it was an Italian restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're probably in praise of the Portuguese guy, you know. But anyway...
He's Italian, he's not Portuguese.
Yeah, but listen, I've got a new take on Christopher Columbus.
Have you?
Guess what?
Go on.
He was Scottish.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a very Scottish name, Columbus.
No, he was Scottish. A new book, right?
Who's it written by?
Written by Alfonso Ensenat de Villalonga, who's 88, by the way. So that's a good age.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And he's found evidence that the man who discovered America was, in fact, from the Douglas clan.
Really?
He was born in 1446, 5 years earlier than previously thought, and the clan is made up of a family.
Why are you speaking in such a weird accent?
Well, this is Scottish. The clan.
He was born when, did you say?
He was born in 1446.
That's 5 years earlier than people think he was born.
Yeah, 5 years
most
earlier.
People think he was born in 1451 in Genoa.
Aye. The clan is made up of a family of nobles from Lanarkshire
Lanarkshire.
Lanarkshire.
Do you mean Lanarkshire?
Lanarkshire in the lowlands of Scotland.
That's just south of Glasgow. Well, it's around Glasgow, actually.
And Columbus's origins have been disputed for centuries, with academics arguing he was born in Italy, Spain and Portugal. But Mr. Villalonga, who has written 3 books about Columbus...
Why are you reading it like that?
Hang on, because I'm giving you the flavour of it.
Yeah, but it's putting me off.
Hang on.
I can't take any of it in.
And read 330,000 files in Italy and Spain, insists the seafarers left Scotland to join a military operation in Italy in the 9th century.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not really evidence at all, is it? This is just a theory.
Colemo Scotto, right, that was his name, a distant descendant from the Douglas clan, fell ill during the campaign, and his family remained in Italy. But 500 years later, Pedro Scotto was born in Genoa.
Yeah, God.
Right? So that was...
I couldn't listen to any of that.
So Columbus is a Scotsman. How about that?
Well, I don't believe that. And what you're saying is his ancestors were Scottish.
Well, sort of, yeah, but
he wasn't actually born in Scotland.
Well, I think that the implication is that he was. But anyway, I thought that was very interesting. Actually.
No, I think it's much more interesting if I read out some more of these fish tweets that I've got.
I think people are appalled that you're making fun of it all.
How about Pike and the Mechanics, which is good. Chubby Checker.
I'm not at all amused, honestly.
And here's one from Roy. How about Coy Division, Public Anemone, Hootie and the Blowfish, Cultured Chub, or Fleetwood Mackerel?
I see.
I think these are great.
Well, yeah, but you've done too many of them now. I think the joke has expired.
Okay.
I think the joke has expired, okay?
Right. Well, then you can tell everybody to stop sending them in, then.
Yes, okay.
Why don't you make that announcement?
No, all I want to say is...
yourself.
I will take it on myself, because we've taken it very seriously.
Why don't you ruin everybody's night?
I am not going to, in any way, try and make fun of the lady. She clearly trained these goldfish. They clearly played music in a way that she described. First of all, they started pulling ropes into their tanks, which rang bells. But then she sophisticated it massively by getting the fish to swim up to sensors in their fish tank, which then emitted sounds like tuba and other instruments. I think she's a brilliant scientist of a woman.
She's not a scientist.
Well, she is, because she found out how well
she's a scientist.
How well fish could listen underwater.
You're so gullible.
I am not prepared to in any way take the Mickey or make fun of her, and I think it's disgusting that you are.
Right.
You're always telling me I don't take our guests serious enough, and then I put them down.
Well,
I think you've done it in the most despicable way.
I'm not going to read out any more funny jokes about fishy music, all right? Yeah. Here's one from Gaz, who says, I hear Porky's not just a music fan. I hear his favourite actress is Dame Judi Tench.
Yeah, but you see...
So it's not about music, that?
No, that's it's another pathetic...
Anyway, what are we going to do about all this plastic in the sea? What were we talking about?
All you can do about it is doing what they're doing now, and that is every time you go to the supermarket, you have to pay 5p for a bag. And that has stopped people from buying bags.
But but do you remember I told you that there's more bags now being stolen than ever before?
Yeah, there are.
And people are now dropping stuff all over the place because for some reason they don't want to spend 5p on a bag, which is ludicrous.
It's absolutely right. Listen, in response to my revelation about people getting neck injuries from looking at their mobile phones all the time, in response to me inventing a new device where you can strap your mobile phone around your neck and have it in front of your face so you don't have to bend your neck, okay?
Right.
And
I think there's some work to be done on it, but it's not a bad idea.
And we've got that up on Two Mics TV now, so you can see how brilliantly I've devised this thing.
Yes.
I've had a response from people who say that one idea to save the neck problem with the tweets and all that is that your phones that you carry around should be constructed electronically so that they only deliver emails to you once a day.
How do you mean?
Well, in the same way as you get your post put through your letterbox once a day, that's what you should do with your emails.
Oh, what, so you read them all at once?
Yeah, read them all at once, you download them once a day.
Well, that's going backwards in technology, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, if it saves people from getting osteoporosis in their neck.
Well, no, it doesn't, though, because surely the point of the email kind of trail that you end up getting involved with is that you can be in touch with people on a much more urgent basis.
Yes.
So that, you don't always I don't reply to every single email as soon as I get it. But if it's of an urgent nature, of course I reply.
Got a note here from...
Sorry, am I boring you?
No, you're not boring me, no.
Yeah.
A note here from Jerry says, do you know a number of apps and sites already provide a similar function to delivering mail on a once daily basis.
Really?
It's called the Unroll Me site. Allows users to unsubscribe from marketing emails and newsletters and to combine the remaining ones into a digest delivered each morning.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I don't like it. I want to be in charge of my own emails, thanks.
Many mail apps, apparently, on smartphones operate via push notifications, which flag up every message as it arrives. Apple's iPhone allows users to change the settings to check for new mails every 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Can you?
Yeah, but I mean, that means you're really getting the phone to own you, which is the other way around from what it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to manage your life in such a way that you don't have to spend your entire time staring into your phone. Well, that's the whole point.
You say that.
Yeah, I know, but you can't do it because you're incapable of switching off.
No,
now, how about this from Dave the Milk? He says on your story about the eel, he says it's not a pin, it's the bone that goes through the middle of the eel.
Oh,
and
is
you
it?
eat the meat on either side.
Oh, I see,
so
right.
it must have been a bone that
I see.
punctured his jaw.
So that's the backbone of the eel, then, presumably.
Well, yeah, I presume, the vertebrae.
Ah, interesting.
But see, I've never seen an eel that's had a bone in it, so, I mean, I can't speak for that. But,
No,
that sounds sensible, doesn't it? Now, look at the time, because coming up...
Don't even worry about the time, man.
Well, coming up next is Porkyvision.
It certainly is.
The Barclays Premier League on Talk Sport. 100% football all weekend, every weekend.
Oh my word, he's put it beyond the goalkeeper.
Saturday afternoon from 5. West Ham versus Manchester City.
And they've scored on the counter-attack, Manchester City.
Sunday from 1. Everton versus Swansea.
1-0 Everton. That's the goal that they've been searching for.
Plus, around the grounds with live reports from every game throughout the season. Official partner of the Barclays Premier League. Talk Sport.
As your TV reviewer, I can reveal there are no plans for a new series.
Yeah, no, but wasn't there a previous series?
Oh, hang on, wait a minute. It says here there might be a new series. What's the problem?
That music, of course, signals only one thing at this particular time of the week. It is time for Porkyvision, the world-renowned and fabulous TV review by Mr. Michael Porky Parry.
Indeed.
What have you got for us?
Well, I'm going to concentrate on just one programme tonight, OK? But it's a programme which I found utterly deplorable.
Did you?
Shocking. Awful.
I should say, by the way, that a lot of people echoed what you said about the Tracy Ullman show last week and watched it and thought that it was absolutely terrible.
Drivel. Well, there's been another Tracy Ullman show since then, which was worse, OK?
Right, okay.
Absolutely worse. Now, by the way, before I get on to my main programme, I happened to have the old box on the other day when I was doing some research on my computer in my office. Yeah. And what came up was Man About the House.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
What, the old one?
The old one,
Right.
yeah. It's on years old.
Yeah,
It must have been on the
Who was in that?
Drama Channel or something. Well, the main guy was a guy called Richard somebody.
Yeah.
Right? With dark black hair.
No, wasn't it Beckinsale? Wasn't Beckinsale?
No. He was in Rising Damp.
He was in Rising Damp
and Porridge,
Yeah,
and he
but
died young. He died young.
No, but he wasn't in. He wasn't in Man About
No,
the House.
no. Man About the House was Richard. What was his name? Because he was in Robin's Nest as well.
Right.
With Tony Blackburn's wife. He stole Tony
ago.
Blackburn's wife,
Did
this
he?
guy. Richard somebody.
Right.
And two really nice girls, one of them who had very protruding teeth. And
the goofy one, yeah, Sally Tomset.
Sally Tomset, and the other one was somebody, Paula Nichols or something.
Paula Nichols, maybe?
Paula, somebody.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
the point of the story is, because you see these things sometimes and you go, wow, you're
what
shocked.
sort of TV have you got on if you're watching that sort of rubbish?
Well, because...
I mean, when does that come on? What channel's that on?
I think it's on channel like Drama or something, or
Drama.
Or could it be? It could be ITV4 actually.
Really?
Because there's some good stuff on ITV4
Is there?
sometimes. Excuse me, I just left it on. Anyway, so what happens is they are the plot in this Man About the House.
Yeah.
Is that Richard? What's his name? Whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, well, never mind.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
What's his name in the show? Will you use that name?
His name in the show. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
But anyway,
what happens to him?
Well, what happens is he is, in fact, a cookery student or a chef, trainee chef. And he decides to do a German night for some unknown reason.
German night,
yeah. So he's cooking some...
I did one of those once when it was Champions League between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund.
What, the final?
Yeah, the final. Yeah.
The final night.
Yeah.
When
I made a load of German food.
When Klopp was the manager.
Made a load of German food, and we sat down with the kids and watched it.
Okay, so is it called?
Okay.
Is it called Schniegel or something?
Eh?
What's it called? German food.
Schniegel.
Isn't there a Schniegel? No,
I don't know.
No, you get a bowl of...
what do you mean schnitzel?
Schnitzel, that's right, the schnitzel. What is schnitzel?
Well, schnitzel is basically, you can have veal schnitzel, you can have chicken schnitzel.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's basically fried, flattened chicken or veal,
and what
generally speaking, in breadcrumbs.
And what do they call their cabbage again?
Eh?
The cabbage.
Sauerkraut.
Sauerkraut, that's right, yeah. Well, it's not sour, is it? That's just the way the Germans spell it.
Well, it's a little bit sour.
Is it? Okay. Anyway...
It's in vinegar, that's why they say that.
Oh, I see. Like red cabbage?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I see. So, anyway, so it does this German night. Anyway, a German student turns up.
Yeah.
Right? And guess who it is?
I don't know.
Dennis Waterman.
Really?
It was the first ever TV appearance he ever made.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe it because I looked it up, you see.
Yeah.
And he's talking into German. Oh, this is very nice food. I'm
Oh,
very
really? He was playing
Richard.
a German?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, yeah. But then he went on to be the Sweeney and all that, and they were fighting with some German terrorists and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Anyway...
I'll tell you who I saw in one of those old episodes of Frost.
Yes,
was the guy from Homeland and the guy who played in the Henry VIII thing. You know, the guy with the red hair.
Mark Ryland.
No, Damien thingy.
Damien Hirst.
Not Damien Hirst.
No, who's it? Damien who?
No, Damien Lewis.
Damien Lewis.
You know, the guy that was in the Henry VIII thing that you said was too dull.
Yeah.
And he played like a school kid, practically, in this old episode of Frost.
Oh, really?
And he still had incredibly bright red hair.
Frost, as in not David Frost?
No, Frost the detective.
Ah, yeah.
David Jason.
David Jason, yeah. I never thought much of that, to be honest. I thought it...
Well, you didn't like Frost?
No.
You're joking.
Do you know why? Because
Frost is a great show.
It was an English impersonation of Columbo.
No, it wasn't.
It was. The mannerisms are all the same.
He didn't smoke a cigar.
No.
He didn't have a raincoat.
No, but his interviewing technique was all the same.
No,
He'd
it
ask
wasn't.
a load of questions and
Not
then he'd
true.
pretend to walk out the room. No, he would. He'd pretend to walk out the room and then he'd suddenly turn back and say, "Oh, sorry, sir, I've just remembered." And that was the Columbo technique.
Yeah.
Now, you see...
There you go, Richard O'Sullivan, a lot of
Richard
people are saying.
O'Sullivan, that's the guy, Richard O'Sullivan. Thank you very much indeed. You see, the other thing is, don't you remember that David Jason went on much later in his career to make a pilot or 2 or 3 series of a thing called the Queen's protection officer. You know what it was called? The Queen's Detective.
The Queen's Detective.
The Queen's Detective.
Yeah.
Or the Queen's... And do you know what that was?
No.
That, in my view, was a takeoff of Johnny English.
Really?
Who did Johnny English?
Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson. It was honestly a bungling security officer who, was always dropping plates and all that kind of stuff. And
was that comedy then?
Well, it's supposed to be, but it was so bad it was shelved after a couple of episodes, I think, because I only ever saw 1 or 2 of it. Never seen him since again. Anyway,
so what show are you going to be telling us about?
Well, the show I'm going to tell you about, and this is the main one.
Yeah.
Is the Christmas
out
Day?
of time.
No, we're not. No, we're not. The Christmas Day episode of Coronation Street.
Christmas Day?
Yeah, was utterly ridiculous.
You're talking about maybe 26 days ago.
I've only just caught up on it because I've been very busy.
Yeah.
But I watched the Christmas Day episode of Coronation Street. It was utterly ridiculous.
Was it?
First of all, the guy...
Mind you only just watched the Downton Abbey Christmas Day special.
You have?
Yeah.
Well, there you go, you see. We've got busy lives. Now, the guy called Tyrone... Yeah, who plays a fat, bumbling grease monkey...
Right.
Who's in
What,
debt.
mechanic, you mean?
Yeah, that's right. Who's in debt all the time, works in Kevin's garage and all that.
Okay.
Suddenly orders 24 Christmas trees, and then, miraculously, overnight, all these Christmas trees appear outside everybody's door on Coronation Street.
What, so he's being a sort of good Samaritan or something?
Well, you don't know. You don't know. It's all so ludicrously ridiculous rubbish.
Yeah.
Coronation Street, I know from experience... is a through street because Rosamond Street's at one end and the Rovers is at the other. But for some unknown reason, on Christmas Day they all wake up. A, it's been snowing when nowhere else in Britain has it been snowing, right?
Right.
B,
well, it's a fictional show.
No, but it was so ludicrous. Do you know
it's
what
not that ludicrous to have snow on Christmas Day.
Do you know what it reminded me of?
I don't know.
It looked to me like an advert for a supermarket. It looked like the Christmas advert for a supermarket.
Okay.
Everybody's jolly.
Yeah.
There's bells ringing all over the place.
But isn't that part of the whole Christmas special thing?
Hang on. The street's been closed down, so there's no traffic allowed up the street. So the police should have been called to clear the street, you know, so people who've got lorries and
well,
things.
Good luck doing that on Christmas Day.
Yeah, well, OK. So there's all these trees all over the place. There's snow all over the ground. They've got fences on.
Well, hang on. So were the trees being delivered to people's homes?
No, they were all delivered to the Grease Monkey's garage, and he put them up himself overnight. Buried them in big tubs. You see what I mean?
Oh, I see. So because presumably people would by Christmas Day you've already got a tree, haven't you? Why would you want another tree?
I've no idea, but he put all these 20 trees out in Coronation Street. So then the snow
Have they got
comes.
lights on them as well?
They all got lights on them.
So where are they all being plugged in then?
Well, I can't answer that. This is a part of the ludicrous plot.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I see where you're going now.
Yeah. So and they got snow. They've got fences to fence off the trees from the rest of the road.
Yeah.
They have got, no joke, a brass band suddenly turns up.
Right.
And nobody explains where this comes from.
Which always happens on Christmas Day.
Yeah, and they start playing, Is
that a tuba you're playing?
Yeah, tuba, like a trumpet.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the band turns up and starts playing on the elevated bit outside the health centre.
Yeah.
And then guess what happens?
Right.
Then, I mean, it just gets more and more ridiculous. Then there's a sleigh bell ringing.
There may be some people who haven't seen it, by the way, so you better not give away the ending.
No, everybody was saying, if you haven't seen it, don't bother watching it. It's so rubbish.
Right.
So then, Santa's sleigh comes around the top of Coronation Street into Coronation Street, pulled by 4 reindeer. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No
Are you
joke.
sure you weren't imagining this?
I was not imagining it.
It can't be this bad.
I was not imagining it. But the reindeer were people with reindeer suits on.
Right.
But when they took their head off, the reindeer head, the people pulling it, 2 seconds later, had been sitting around their Christmas dinner table eating their Christmas dinner.
Right.
It was all such ludicrous, pathetic
So what
rubbish.
was the point of all of this then?
I've no idea.
Was it not supposed to be some dream sequence or something?
No, it could have been.
That's normally the way they explain it.
But no, this was supposed to be real.
Really?
It was supposed to be real.
Well, who was playing Santa?
I don't know, some big fat guy.
Right. But was he actually meant to be Santa then?
Yeah, he was meant to be Santa, yeah. But the thing is, it was all pivotal around a little girl who was the Grease Monkey's little girl is supposed to be getting treated for cancer.
Right.
Which, of course, is very, very sad if it was in real life. But it's not real life.
No,
it's all
not.
rubbish.
No.
So he decides she's going to have her greatest Christmas ever, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All this happened. It's so ridiculous that even the characters were coming out of their homes on Christmas Day morning, and instead of having their normal dressing gown on, they had a Santa dressing gown on. You see what I mean?
Well, that's not so unusual.
And another guy opens his door, good morning, comes out, and he's got an elf costume on.
An elf costume?
Yeah, it was absolutely pathetically ridiculous.
I know.
But the worst is yet to come.
Is it?
So all this is going on,
can't imagine.
Happy Christmas, everybody, and everybody's singing Silent Night, Holy Night. Meanwhile,
to kill a hymn now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the homosexual vicar is prancing around, giving people good wishes on Christmas and all this kind of stuff. Right. Nobody quite knows why, because he should be in church, really, conducting a service on Christmas Day.
Yeah, you would have thought.
You'd have thought.
Yeah.
It's only, to be honest, there's only one day a year, really, a vicar is essential to his job. And that's on Christmas Day.
Not if you're a true Christian. Surely he's essential to his job all the year round.
But he's not there. He's getting involved in pulling sleighs and all this kind of stuff. It's so ludicrous.
Right.
But the most ludicrous thing is the next episode, which was Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Guess what?
There's no snow.
There's no trees.
Right.
There's no lights.
Yeah.
Everything has disappeared.
Okay.
It's all gone.
Well, maybe it was a dream sequence.
It wasn't.
You missed something out.
It wasn't. You are absolutely right. You've totally got the flavour of what I've been telling you. So I must have explained it brilliantly.
You have.
It was just so ludicrous, over the top, ridiculous rubbish.
Right.
I just can't believe it was allowed to be broadcast because, as far as I'm concerned, the credibility of Coronation Street now as a docu-soap drama, which is what it's always been, gone.
Down. Below the waterline.
Gone.
Okay, so there you are.
Gone.
That's this week's Porkyvision. Whatever you do,
down.
don't bother watching the Christmas special.
Do not.
Because it's no good.
Do not.
This is Talk Sport.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Freedom for sport.
Can we kick it? Yes, we can. Talk Sport.
If you've recently noticed that you're starting to lose your hair, there are a range of options open to you. You could have a hair transplant, as long as you're earning as much as a Premier League footballer. For the more thrifty amongst us, there's always the classic comb-over. Or if you really want to make a statement, why not go all out and get yourself a poodle perm wig? However, if you want to do something effective, you're going to need facts, not fiction. Regain for Men Extra Strength Scalp Foam contains minoxidil, which has been scientifically proven to help stop and even reverse hereditary hair loss, working deep down at the root. It can be used on a receding hairline, and the earlier you start using it, the higher your chances of success. You could even start seeing visible results in 16 weeks. And now Regain has an app that gives you support and advice to track your progress and maintain your twice-daily routine. Separate the facts from the fiction at regain.co.uk. Regain contains minoxidil. Always read the label.
For the perfect match.
Embrace the power within.
Tonight.
Yes.
A couple of people very much in favour of it.
Excellent.
Dean says this, Porky, you really are the Barry Norman of radio. Fluid, interesting and scintillating is everything a TV reviewer should be.
Thank you.
Jason says Dennis Wharton was in Just William long before Man About the House.
Yeah, that's true.
And Becky says, I would love to see Mr. Parry review Wayward Pines, The Dome, or any decent sci-fi series.
What?
I don't know
Never
whether
heard of
you've
that.
heard of any of them.
No.
Michael says, Porkyvision gets better every week. Give the guy a slot on the TV. Sharpish.
Thank you.
And then here's one from Michael in Gosport. Not him. Sorry, Sean the Bristolian trucker.
Yes.
Was Porky eating a magic mushroom omelette whilst watching Corrie?
Well, I'm telling you, it was like that. I'd like to hear from some people who saw it that day and see what they thought about it. I thought it was so ridiculous. I'm not joking.
Right.
I thought this shouldn't be allowed. It was like what it was like, Mate. It was like this was not Coronation Street. This was something else.
Right.
And it didn't. It's never fitted into the plot.
Yeah.
It didn't fit into the episode before Christmas Day, and it didn't fit into the episode after Christmas Day. Oh, and in the middle of all this, by the way, in the middle of all this, a guy called Rob, who's in jail for murder, for murdering another person in Coronation Street, is telling people he's getting out, which is interesting, because if he gets out, he's going to marry Tracy, who herself murdered someone in Coronation Street,
Well, I thought she
got out.
I thought she was only accused of murdering somebody. I didn't realise.
No,
that,
she murdered her
when she was
boyfriend.
fingered for it. I thought
she smashed him over the head with a lamp and killed him.
Oh, I thought
his
she
name
wasn't
was
guilty.
Alfie, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, right.
Something like that. Or
Richard
Tommy.
says,
Tommy.
Richard in Swindon says, so Porky thinks Corrie is Codswallop. Simon in Sheffield said, Porkyvision so far this year, I went to the cinema in Washington, my holiday in Benidorm, and Corrie from last Christmas.
Yes.
Well, which pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, well, why not?
What's
why
wrong
not?
with that?
Well, nothing at all. I think it's very good. I'm just polishing my phone.
Now, I
actually.
should tell you that, Andy, you're polishing your phone.
Yeah, sorry.
Why are you polishing your phone?
Well, in my new phone case, I've got a window in the front.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it gets condensation for some unknown
Why?
reason. I don't know.
That doesn't sound right.
No, it doesn't sound
Maybe
right,
you should
no.
take it back. You shouldn't be getting condensation in here.
I had a massive problem with this phone, right? Because I used to be on Vodafone, and if you want to recall your messages, when you're on Vodafone, you hit 121.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, when I got this new phone, I went over to O2.
Okay.
So for the first 3 weeks of having this phone, I got more and more exasperated.
Yeah.
Every time I dialed 121, it just cut
Didn't
off.
give you messages.
Didn't give messages.
Oh, right.
And I got infuriated, and I started ringing up
Did you not
O2
just get
and-
something you could press which said voicemail?
No.
Right.
And so I started ringing up O2 and giving them abusive messages, because, leaving them abusive messages. And I rang up...
But funny enough, they couldn't get their messages either.
No, that's right. So, and I rang up the shop where I bought it from and left a few abusive messages there.
Right.
And then I went in and...
You make yourself more and more popular.
Yeah. Then eventually I found time to get into the shop. I stormed in and demanded action. And this phone, they'd sold me, which cost me, like huge amounts of money, didn't work. And then there was a very nice young lady in there who said, which network you on? And I said, well, I'm on O2.
Yeah.
And she said, well, to record your message on O2, you have to dial 901.
Oh, dear.
Not 121.
Oh, okay.
But nobody
Which
told
I
me
think
that.
on Vodafone is how to get an operator, I think.
Is it? Yeah, well, nobody
901,
told me that, you see. So,
right.
And then when I eventually worked this out...
And did you have any good messages or not?
Well, I had like 27 messages.
Did you?
And, one from Andy Townsend, my old mate, who ran me last
probably
weekend.
thinks you've snubbed him.
Exactly.
Shocking state of
And
affairs.
so-
Well, you have to explain it to him.
Well, I will have to explain to him, yeah. But also, once again, I was paralysed with fear when I dialed 901 and the voice said, enter your PIN number.
Oh, God.
I thought, well, I haven't got a PIN number.
Right.
But then...
Did you have to then come up with one?
Yeah, quite kindly. It said if you haven't got a PIN number, you can have a new PIN number.
Yeah.
And then I dialed a third time to enter your new PIN number.
Right.
put a number in, and hash,
Right.
and that's your new PIN number.
So it's good then.
Sorted.
So what's the PIN number?
I'm not telling you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
I thought
telling
you
you.
might fall for that one.
No, that's stupid.
No
see.
flies on you. Now, I
That's
should
stupid.
say that the Andy Murray game has just got underway, and Andy Murray's just won the first game to love against this guy called Sam Groth.
Sam Groth, where's he from?
He's Australian, right? And he's
Let's
interesting.
call him Sam the Grot.
Yeah, well, I don't think we should have any of that sort of
Sammy the
nastiness.
Grot.
No, I don't think so. He's
Aussie bum.
He's the fastest serving player
Yeah.
in the men's game currently today.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
163 miles an hour. But what's
Yeah.
interesting about him,
Doesn't
right?
seem to be doing him much good.
What's interesting about him? Well, hang on, he hasn't served yet.
Oh, okay.
He's about to serve.
Oh,
He's
right.
just lost the first service game to Murray.
All right, well, we'll have a look at him now, shall
But
we?
what's interesting about him, right, is that he gives up tennis every now and again to go and play Aussie rules football.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
So he's a hard
So
man.
he's a hard guy.
Tough guy.
Quite an athlete.
Tough guy.
You should watch. You should. I think what we should have is you commentating on his first serve to Andy Murray.
Okay, that's a good
Why
idea.
don't you do that?
Okay.
Because he's about to serve now.
Yeah, well, he's wearing a baseball cap the wrong way round, so that puts him down as a jerk to me. He's just thrown the ball up and couldn't get it right and it came down again. Right, he's just whacked his first ball towards Andy Murray, but it bounced off the top of the net, so it's a let, okay? Now it's his second one. That went in. Andy Murray got it, no problem at all. Oh, Andy Murray lobbed him. Oh, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So what happened was, well, the Aussie, what do we call him?
Sam Groth.
Right. Groth, the Aussie, he whacks one down on his third serve. Andy Murray brilliantly returns it. Then Groth manages to bash it again. But Andy Murray is so good, he literally lobs it over his head and it hits the baseline and goes out. So Andy Murray won the point.
Yeah, so it's now love 15.
Love 15.
Now, the second time he's thrown the ball up, right?
Yeah.
And he's still, he's obviously got a problem with his action.
Yeah.
First serve is out again.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter if he's hitting it 163 miles an hour because
old Groth.
He's obviously got a problem with his throwing arm.
Yeah,
right?
Old Aussie Groth. He keeps throwing the ball up and then catching it again.
Right.
So he clearly doesn't know what he's doing.
Mind you, Murray's just hit that one long, so it's
Yeah,
15 all.
But then when he serves, he's way out of the dividing line on the other side of the net. So he lost that one. Then his third serve, his second serve, did get in, and Andy Murray's returned it and put it out long. So it's 15 all.
Yeah, it's 15 all. But, I mean, this guy's ranked something like 187 in the world, so you wouldn't expect him. He hasn't got a first serve in yet.
No, he's just served again and smashed it into the net.
Yeah.
So he might have the fastest serve in the game, but he's got the most inaccurate one as well.
Yeah, right.
Which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it is. Mind you, that was a good point. Serve and volley off his second serve. It's now 30-15 to
Yeah,
Groth.
but he's still wearing his baseball hat the wrong way round.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep you updated as it goes in the rest of the game.
Yes.
Fascinating stuff. Now, what else have we got to talk
Andy
about?
Murray, by the way, is wearing the equivalent of a sort of bib, isn't he?
Hey?
He's wearing the equivalent of a bib.
How do you mean?
See, this is what I object to with the all these tournaments apart from Wimbledon. They shouldn't be allowed to wear multicoloured clothes.
Well, it's not up to you, though. It's in another country.
What is Andy Murray wearing there?
It's in Australia.
Yeah, I know it's in Australia.
Well, he's wearing a hat as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, but he's wearing it the right way round.
Presumably they're wearing hats because it's so hot.
Yes. Well, if you wear a hat when it's hot, you get hotter.
No, but it protects your head, though, doesn't it?
I don't quite understand that. What does it protect your head from?
Well, it protects your head from the sun.
From the sun? Yeah,
of course. That's why. Don't you wear a hat in the summer when it's hot?
I wear my Panama.
By the way, did I tell you that I had to scrape frost off the car tonight for the first time?
Yes.
Even though it's been no colder this evening than it has for other evenings. Can you explain
Well, it
that?
has. It's been freezing cold today.
No, but it wasn't any colder than it was the previous 2 nights. Is what I'm saying.
I think it was. I mean, the cold.
When I got in the car, it was 1.5 degrees centigrade, right. 1.5. And the previous night I got in, it was 1, but I had no frost.
I didn't get home this morning until about 9:30, 10:30 actually, because I did a bit with Mr. Brazil in the breakfast show.
Yeah.
And then I had some business to attend to at the distribution centre for the DVD.
Right.
Because we're getting a new batch in and we're going to relaunch and all that next week. We'll tell you all about that soon.
All right.
And went down to see the girls there, and then I got out of the car down there, and the cold cut through me. It was incredibly cold.
You like the cold, though, don't you?
Well, I do like the cold, but I like to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a vest on, and I didn't have a scarf.
What do you mean you didn't have a vest on?
Well, I usually like to wear a vest for insulation in
What
the
sort of vest?
extreme cold. A black vest.
A black vest? Well, not like a string vest, not like one of those
No.
old-fashioned vests.
No. A black, vest.
Like an undershirt?
An undershirt.
Yeah.
That's
but
the word
with
I'm
sleeves or not?
Sleeveless.
Sleeveless?
Sleeveless, yeah.
Sleeveless?
Sleeveless, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
It doesn't give me a good feeling thinking about you wearing a
Well,
sleeveless
the shirt on top
shirt.
of it, you fool. It's good for insulation.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know?
not like you're talking about sort of a T-shirt style shirt, right?
No, I'm talking about a singlet.
A singlet?
Yes.
So actually like a proper vests that we used to wear at school.
Yes, exactly.
That kind of thing.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Okay.
I get them in Marks and Spencer.
I don't wear vests. I haven't worn a vest since I was about 9.
Well, I do now to protect my heart, because only 1/3 of it works, you see.
Well, how does that protect your heart?
Well, because it's a covering for your chest, isn't it? And your chest is the nearest external point to your heart. You might not know that, but it is.
Well, yeah, I know that. But, I mean, there's plenty between your outer chest and
Not
your
always.
heart. There's
Not
plenty
always.
of blubber there, trust me. I should keep you warm.
Now, listen, talking about modern life, OK?
Yeah.
Do you see this report that noises from modern life are making us all ill?
Like what?
Believe it or not, the shh and psh of automatic doors opening in front of us when we walk in and out of buildings.
What sort of person would get upset by that?
I don't know. Public address systems.
Why?
Automatic doors. They're all creating an epidemic of ultrasonic sickness.
Right.
Schools, railway stations, sports grounds, swimming pools, museums and even libraries are very bad for the health in modern-day Britain.
Why?
Even devices...
What's wrong with people?
I don't know. Even devices designed to scare away cats can trigger ultrasonic sickness.
And what is ultrasonic sickness?
It brings on nausea, dizziness, tiredness, stomach pain and headaches. Ultrasound refers to sound waves with frequencies higher than humans can hear.
Right.
Ultrasound devices work above this frequency and are used to detect objects and measure distances. So that's, you know, when you're walking towards a door and the door opens automatically, it's ultrasound which is triggering the door opening.
Is it?
Because it's measuring how close the human being is to the door.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But that, in fact, although you can't hear it, your ears can, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Your
inner
eardrum.
ear.
Yeah, your eardrum is picking that up.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me at all.
Well, you don't know whether it bothers you or not because you can't hear it.
Well, of course I know whether it bothers me or not, because how do you know if it does bother you then?
Well, it says here about 1 in 20 people can actually detect ultrasound, but not as a noise, as a sort of irritation in their ear, in their head. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It may not be necessary to hear it to be affected. High frequency...
Do you not think sometimes, and some of this rubbish that you come out with, which I know has been done by some other surveying organisation, is just all about kind of making people worry too much about the way that they live their lives. I mean, we've had so far, don't have anything to drink from the chief medical officer. We've had don't throw any sticks for your dog by some vet in Scotland. Now we're being told that even though we're not aware of it, we're somehow being damaged by noises that we can't hear.
Well,
really?
That is the essence of this report. You're being damaged by noises you can't hear.
Well, has it been written by a collection of idiots?
No, it's guy from it's a guy called Jan Schnupp.
Jan Schnupp?
Yeah, the well-known...
I don't like the sound of his name.
Yeah, the well-known Oxford professor, Oxford University professor. He says billions of people have been exposed to ultrasound from fluorescent lights for many years.
Do you not get a feeling this guy's got a bit gaga?
No, because he's saying what you've just said. He said, and by and large, we live longer and healthier lives than their parents. So
what's he talking about?
He says, leave this to hypochondriacs to worry about. He's defending it. He's defending what you've said.
Something not to worry about.
Yeah. Now listen,
Andy Murray's two games to love up.
Yeah, well, he's going to massacre this guy. What's his name again?
His name is
Slobbo.
Wasn't it? Slobbo. Groth. Sam Groth.
The Grot.
3 games to love now.
The Aussie Grot. What I was going to say is...
it should be so disparaging.
Very quickly.
As Becky's pointed out, Porky was loving the Aussies yesterday when Sandra was on.
Yes.
Now he's slagging them off.
Well, this guy's...
Terrible backtracking.
This guy's playing our boy, so I always support our boy. What I was going to say is very briefly, I worked with a photographer at the Birmingham Mail called Bunny. I don't know why his name was Bunny, but he was. And he went and took some aerial...
His name was always Bunny.
Yeah, that's right. He went and took some aerial pictures of some rock concert, in the Midlands or something. When he landed in a little plane, he got out and he literally fell all over the runway and all that. He was never the same again. He'd got a very serious attack of vertigo, and his sense of balance had gone. He had to retire. Seriously, he got vertigo and had to retire.
There's a lot of sad stories you've been telling tonight.
Sad stories.
Yeah, very much so. We might have some more happy stories, hopefully, tomorrow on the show. It's going to be Porky quiz time, of course, and the quiz is on John Wayne, so I hope you're going to be boning up on John Wayne movies. And
Did you see my tweet today?
Yes.
Do you know where Trump was today?
Yes, I saw that.
The John Wayne Memorial Institute in Iowa.
I know.
That's an omen.
How extraordinary. He wasn't in that, though, was he? This is Talk Sport.
Look at the light! Don't forget to come back tomorrow for another sparkling, as fizzy as a bottle of champagne, podcast from the two mics. If those fish are so good at hearing noise as half of their body is a big eardrum, why haven't human doctors thought about transferring goldfish into people's ears who are deaf to give them sound.
No, I've never seen you so enthralled.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
great.
forget about finding undiscovered planets.
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
about,
yeah.
you know, you're fascinated by a singing fish.
I certainly am.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like a child.
If you love the Two Mikes podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.
George Orr was my first musical fish.
Hashtag plankton.